3-1. I honestly think that my prediction for this game is that it will come down to this map. Wichita Oblivion, if they win this map, we go to map 5. If Aerial Arise win this map, it's a 3-1.
So we're setting the stage early. Everything
Yes, we
rides
are.
on the first map to decide the overall best T3 player in North America. T3 team in North America. So the bands themselves will also be just as pivotal. Welcome to Aerial Arise's playground. It's Wichita's pick, and it does mean Aerial will start on defense first. Maybe we have an observer bug.
Do we?
I haven't seen this before.
Wait, is the ban just not?
Wait a minute.
What? I've never seen that.
I've literally never seen that before. Okay, so we know Thatcher's banned. Congratulations, we did that one early.
All right. That is weird.
Do we need to full on rehost? Nope, there we go. Oh, Kool-Aid crashed.
Oh, Kool-Aid needed to leave. It's always Jameson, man. I swear.
But for it to stall the lobby out like that, that's really weird. Anyway.
That is weird.
There goes Thatcher. Perhaps a hard breach will also join Thatcher on the attacking side of things, and it will indeed goodbye to the Hatch Queen, Ibana, after that massive change that she got through Neon Dawn. That's not an unsurprising thing to see get taken off the board this early, though I do think Maverick play and especially Ace play will probably be the two more preferred hard breach operators that we see run this time around, whether we see Thermite. I dare I say Thermite's beginning to fall a little bit out of meta after Neon Dawn, but with Ibana off the board, I suppose all three options will technically worthwhile.
Yeah, Thermite, he still has some play on other maps. Oregon in particular, not really. Maybe you'd bring a Thermite for like the games wall, but I know that Aerial Arise and Wichita Oblivion, you know, on this map in particular, Whitlock is going to hard stick Ace and Gasher will well. Both these teams really like Ace again because they are, you know, they do have strategy. These two teams actually have a lot of depth for being in T3, but they, at the end of the day, they are some really good gunners. And Ace is better gun than Thermite. Plain and simple. AK-12, you can't beat it.
Don't let Benny hear that. He's a bona fide Thermite main.
Yeah, well, Benny's also like 300 years old, so.
And balding.
He's the Yoda of Siege, as we call it.
Is he? Well, yeah, he's about as short as Yoda, too. So that makes perfect sense.
Oh.
We'll have to pull us back out for just one brief second while we sort something else out. But Thatcher, Ibana, Malusi, and Mira. I think we had Malusi banned out on defense previous to this, and we were all like, why? But then we saw how much impact that had, especially over the course of the major, with Malusi really being the only operator that was capable of slowing down attacking fronts. Plenty of times I remember seeing someone trying to be in a plant spot or attacker trying to hunt down a last defender with only a couple of seconds left, and what do they run into? A Banshee. Problem you never want to deal with, so congratulations, that is utterly nullified. And at least to start with, the delay seems to be entirely stemming from Kool-Aid, which is apparently a trend.
Yeah, that happens sometimes with Kool-Aid. You know, can't really blame him. Sometimes he
does he not have an SSD? My God.
You know, he might not. But I just know that if there's someone who's late loading into the lobby while an Aerial Arise is playing, it's typically Kool-Aid. Oh, but we're in.
We'll be in momentarily.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Here we go.
Something else we gotta mention, of course, is earlier match said, no. There's no match. Just straight best of 5s, 0-0. What are they going to do Aerial Arise? Well, they are allowed their selection of the overtime side on every single map. Now, that doesn't seem like much. But the way these maps play out, typically you're sided. Aerial Arise.
10 seconds to insertion.
I'm going to first on Oregon. First on
5 seconds to insertion.
That is your advantage when the rest of the
attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Continue to be mostly a defender-sided map. Regardless of that, I don't think we're really at a stage where competitor can control that common plot, which probably needs to prove their season. Hey, went to Oregon. This could have been an Aerial Rise map in the bag, but if you have so many strong maps that your opponent has already been proven to win. Wichita, I guess, technically didn't really have a choice, and they needed to prioritize one map to get really, really darn good at, and Oregon's kind of a bastion map for Siege. It's really one of the iconic maps that this game has, even past the rework, so they need this map more so than any other map in the series bad. I wholeheartedly agree. And yeah, something that we also noted in the ban phase, with the exception of the, 2 rounds I think we played between Wichita Oblivion and Ablation last week before that series needed to get forfeit, Coastline's not been played literally at all in CCS Season 5.
Truly, I love Coastline as a map. A lot of people how frag heavy it is. Wichita Oblivion already. Of being frag heavy are going to be opening up Laundry. Let's see Laundry. They already have Easy down the freezer steps as well. Drone coming in. Not quite sure who that is on Aerial that is currently inside of Easy. Max on the kite. Usually be where he sits and where he sits. Already half the run. Wichita Oblivion have taken of
Attackers have located a bomb.
match. Though there isn't a lot else. They've yet to get an opening pick into the site. Neither of these teams have had an engagement yet. Vladder is positioning himself at the bottom of Laundry's stage. He's got his 18 round out, so try and burn some shield that Whitlock and Kool-Aid were previously playing behind. He has to revert. There's a hold on to Maestro. Gunner will not land the shot. So, still, a minute left in this round. Have not had a single engagement yet.
All of Ariel Arise's defenders right now have basically given full control of Laundry to Wichita in the event that they want to go for it, but CZ is prioritizing his fight in Freezer before he makes that push and attempts to clear more of it out of the way. Problem is, Maestro's situated and watching the Laundry angle from the rotate, which means it'll also be up to Max to try to stop things from Laundry. There's the first frag of this grand final. It'll be Max onto Gasher. If he can find another one through the Freezer, he will, but CZ works all the way down the stairs. His position given away, and he'll finally be taken down from that rotate angle by Gunner. Now 5 versus 3 with smoke being deployed on both sides from Capito and Smoke. It'll be Kool-Aid to grab one, but England has his own refrag now. Finally, a 4 versus 2. Time whittling away with Diffuser in their control, but one of those Toxic Babes can take down Acid before he has the opportunity to plant. Here comes the crouch angle. Gunner versus the Maverick, and one of these succeeded. It'll be Gunner in the end. Kool-Aid with the second kill in the round. It's all on Acid, and there's no chance. Ariel Arise only lose one member. They take the first lead of the series.
Wow, an extremely dominant first round from Ariel Arise. Like you said, only losing one man in that entire push. That Laundry Freezer push from Wichita Oblivion not working out as intended at all. Their freezer pressure quelled pretty easily by both Kool-Aid and Gunner, holding that kind of odd cross. Gunner was like on top of the washing machine, watching that angle. CZ couldn't fight it. Of course, the first pick as well, Gasher, who was peeking the Laundry double door, just got his head ripped off by Max. Max, for some reason, Max just happens to be a demon on one of the worst guns on the defense. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the 1.5, because Max also likes Warden, but who knows? Laundry goes the way of Ariel handedly. Now we move up to Dorm. But only getting 1 kill in the first round is not the pace you want to be setting.
It's Ariel Arise's most banned against them map? That's not quite the term. It's the most banned map against Ariel Arise.
Yes.
I think that's a much better way of saying it. But problem with that is that Wichita Oblivion needed to have something in the bag. I think if you were Wichita, there were 3 different options for a map that you could have improved on. But the issue is you've also lost both Consulate and Villa to Ariel Arise in their previous series, which means the only map that they haven't played against one another thus far in CCS, presumably in the rest of T3 at large, is Oregon. So that's the map that Wichita have selected by themselves to try to knock out early. Because if you're not able to get an advantage on either of those other 2 battlegrounds, then you might as well try it on the map that you haven't played against one another of this point. So 1 round in the bag is a little bit too soon to tell whether Wichita really have a handle on how this map needs to play out, but at least for right now, it's not the pace you want to set. You're absolutely right.
They have a better time attacking upstairs because they're bringing the exact same attacking lineup. It's a pretty universal one. The interesting thing that I like to note about Wichita Oblivion's attack is that they're not bringing a no-man. Against Ariel Arise, went around. Case in point, just as I mentioned it, thank you, Gunner, for pretty much doing my job for me. England will be run.
Attackers have located a bomb.
On the Maverick, on a top 4 attack. That is probably the best opening pick Ariel Arise could have asked for, or maybe this.
And it kind of looks like the attack from Wichita is a little disjointed. There's one big window. CZ's downstairs trying to find or at least hold cover on main door. Gasher's about to come up to join Acid as opposed to making a rotate down towards Attic unless he's already utilized his Selma, which at the moment he has. The question remains, was it on Attic Wall or did it get used on Master? And it's all up to Vladder by himself on Trophy. So it'll be attacks from seemingly 3 different angles, assuming that there's no one to come up and join the Ashen side Trophy. There's another kill as Kool-Aid, this time rocking the Maestro, takes down Acid. Both of the former Pro League players taken out of commission, and now it all falls on Gasher, CZ, and Vladder to make an impact.
Yeah, so far, Aerial Arise just... The entire time we've spent on this map so far has been in the favor of Aerial Arise. Here's a flank. The Nomad could have stopped it, but it's Vladder just watching the angle to find 1 kill. He tacks on for 2 as Kool-Aid gets a little bit too aggressive towards the trophy door. Back to a 3-on-3, though. Aerial Arise, the rest of their players all full HP. Wichita Oblivion, a little bit worse for wear. With the smoke still up with 2 babes and a C4 from Whitlock, that could prove dangerous, but CZ's going for a sneaky play up the white stairs. There's barbed wire in his way. That's likely a sound cue heard by the defense, unless the smoke canisters are too much to drown it out. Whitlock gets a kill, Max is refrag, another one for CZ, and the round turns on its head. It's Dami inside of Attic in a 1 versus 2. CZ and Vlad are the 2 duo entries for Wichita Oblivion. They will fall in just a couple bullets, but it's up to Dami to hit his shots and not allow any refrag in return. Wichita Oblivion need to try and stay together and play for this refrag, but no! The head of Vlad will be popped. A beautiful shot from Dami, and now we're down to a 1v1. 25 seconds left for CZ. He does have Diffuser in pocket, and he can go for a plant as Dami does not have any indirect denial. If he has intel, he could bait it out. No plant behind the shield. That's a good plant spot, though Dami has Impact in his hand. He'll just sprint over. He sees the Zofia, but he'll dart away, and as he turns away, CZ shoots him in the back. A 3K for the Zofia, and single-handedly, he'll bring the round back in Wichita Oblivion's favor.
Everything on the defense isn't watching white stairs. There's a shield that's looking all the way down through Armory with a smoke position behind it, but no one accounts for a lone Zofia working her way up the staircase and just fragging everything in her path. It works really, really well, but only because Aerial Arise's attention was diverted elsewhere from the bomb site. It will force now Aerial Arise to head to dorms for a 2nd consecutive round. Probably head back down to Laundry after this. It means we won't see any of the tertiary sites played just yet that happen to connect to Kitchen. It's a good attack, but it only really got anywhere because of the 3K from CZ. Everything else seemed like it was falling apart. It was a 3 versus 3 with a whole bunch of HP off the board for Wichita Oblivion, but they managed to make things work. Though you can't always rely on, the play of 1-star player every time. We did highlight CZ in the opening of the show. Best player on Wichita Oblivion from a rating perspective by far, which I think is a good thing. If you have a player who isn't, or who doesn't have previous T1/Pro League pedigree being at the top of your team, it means that you have the confidence, the pedigree, the experience, a couple of other players in both England and Acid to help bring calm and composure and maybe keep their cool in clutch moments.
Yeah, that was... Dami as well. Dami had impacts. I don't know why he didn't just... If he knew the plane was going behind the shield, I don't know why he just didn't impact it.
Did he have any left?
Yeah, I think he still had both, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure he did. Oh, I don't know. That was a little bit weird. Maybe just a little bit of lapse of judgment.
Yeah, he hasn't been using them for rotates in this round either. That's all come down to Max and Kool-Aid with shotguns.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm not sure. Either way, good round from CZ. 1-1 now. Wichita Oblivion have taken, pretty much half their minimum quota on Oregon for their attacking side. Gunner will yet again go on a very deep roam and play for that late flank. Still no Nomad, though Gasher will swap off Hard Breach onto Twitch. Now all you've got is the Maverick, and I'm interested to see where they decide to push, because now you've really got to choose, am I going to be opening up both Attic and Games? Am I just going to be going one for the other? Because having to rely on a Maverick for all of that is not only time-consuming, but he's also really exposed opening that Games wall and could be a potential risk.
You're aware of the runouts or any of the deep roam presence as well, though Gunner so far is situated only in the basement. Almost like he's waiting for this Zofia position, because it was Zof who was clearing out everything on top Laundry stairs and by the main door in the previous round, so Gunner's just sitting here expecting the same thing to come in a moment. And there is the Zofia right there. You see CZ just to the left-hand side. That should be her silhouette. She's actually going to jump all the way up, and she won't even worry about contesting the Jaeger downstairs, which means there's 3 players for Wichita Oblivion all situated inside Master, and if Vladder's not holding this cross, Jaeger could do some serious damage.
Although last time, Jaeger tried coming up for a flank, and Vladder was just waiting and watching, likely probably like a flank drum on that or something, as now the Maverick will go ahead and go to work on that game as well. Of course, unfortunately, Gunnar, you know, Jaeger doesn't have any explosives. He can't just go ahead and blow up the people out of the game's wall, but I guess this might be characteristic of why they just brought that Maverick. Going for a big window push, not something you see all too often nowadays on Oregon Dorms attacks. Usually, if it's a big window push, it's supplemental to a kid's dorm's window repel and attic pressure, but they're not really going for attic at all. It's just games and big window. In fact, there's two attackers outside of big window for whatever reason. Less than a minute left, and yet again, we've really not had too much of an engagement between these two teams. Max very wary of that backside pressure, and Gunnar is droned out from below and will remain downstairs and sit inside of security for now. Max takes a bullet, and he's able to trade a little bit back on the asset as he gets himself out of that little corner he was trapped in. So Max able to escape, able to live another day, and use his toxic babes for the late round push. Acid readying his fireball to try and take the player out of the corner in the kid storms. Gasher's holding the cross, but he can't find the kill. He doesn't click fast enough, but Whitlock is finished off by the fire. Kool-Aid lines up two though on the window. Wet Meat coming in from White Stairs is traded out. CZ with Wet Meat back to a 2v2. It's again the double entries to try and clutch up. Gunnar on the White Stairs goes down, but there's no diffuser control. He'll pick it up. Max with one kill. That's the shotgun for the second. Can he find him? And there's the click. Max with the final two kills. Arial Arise. They solve the problem in their Dorm's defense, and they take their second round.
They almost didn't solve the problem. It was still a 1v2 in the end, but this time it's an ARIAL Arise player to clutch things out and ensure it's a defensive round win, and that the attacking force of both CZ and Vladder, the double entry duo that we've seen so often in every single meta through 2020, is not effectual. 2 versus 1 now as we head back down to Laundry Supply. It's a good defense from ARIAL Arise. They do fix their problem. However, it is a really strong attack from Wichita Oblivion, as they have gained 2 different man advantages. Both times ARIAL Arise has gone to dorms. So if we need to go back to dorms again, maybe there's a chance Wichita can win another round on their attack before we switch over to defense. Though, if you're ARIAL Arise, maybe it's worthwhile to head to those tertiary sites early so that Wichita don't have the chance to go back to it and win.
Yeah, that round 2 was... Kool-Aid kind of saved it. Acid gets the kill with the firebolts onto Whitlock, who's the only player kind of stopping that vault in. And then as they vault in, Kool-Aid swings out and kills both of them. Sure, he gets flanked White Stairs, but Max is there to cover his trade. Now, the thing that really worked well for Wichita Oblivion is that because of that push, everyone from ARIAL Arise was like, crap, we got to pay attention to big window. That allowed CZ and Vladder to come in from the back, get some good kills, bring it down to a 2v2. Gunner's head gets popped by Vladder on White Stairs as he's protecting the diffuser, maybe a little bit too aggressively, but Max comes up big in the go far very well for himself. Now, it's back to Laundry. ARIAL Arise won this last time nearly flawlessly.
They only lost 1 player in the process. I think it was Max, who was playing Kaid. He had 1 kill in Freezer, then he immediately got traded out again. And I'm pretty sure it was because I checked his KD right after the round ended, and I'm like, yep, all right. Who was the lone player that made it so that Ariel couldn't have a flawless round? Oh, Max. Oh, you.
Man.
Had to be the party pooper.
Of course, it's also process of elimination, because Max survived the last round, so he had to have gotten both of his deaths in the previous ones.
There you go. Look at you being a whiz.
Exactly.
I both love this duo and hate the fact that I felt dumb on multiple occasions trying to figure out how to cast. Gunnar will take about 25 HP off. He will head right back down the freezer stairway as Wichita tries to open up hatch inside security and also provide cover, as it has been electric clawed out. There's no chance for a trick on this hatch because the electric claw is a little bit too far away from it, but it also doesn't matter because it's practically open anyway. Vladder is opting to make a rotate from, I think it was almost like big window side, but he and Acid will swap positions, as Acid will now try to help attack from the meeting room side of the map as he enters through the hallway window. The pressure from Wichita is still relatively slow. Even though it's an early engagement, Gunnar probably shouldn't have been getting super aggressive on the top of Freezer Stairs anyway, but this is probably where we should have been situated regardless, with almost no HP removed from either team. But now the attack comes in, and now we're finally seeing Bunker make a presence where it didn't become a primary attack strategy for Wichita in round number 1.
That was weird. Whitlock with holding the shield in his pocket until very late in the round, but there's an ADS covering that. One of Ladder's charges will be absorbed, but Max, well, yet again, it's a repeat of what happened in round number 1. He gets that opening kill onto Gasher. Down goes the Hard Breacher, and Vladder has been downed, but not finished off. So he'll likely be rezzed by whoever was pushing down in bunker with him. So at least Wichita Oblivion, maintain a... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, at least they maintain a one-man deficit, but Glaive's just going to rip the head off of CZ. Vladder will be recovered, and that's a nice shot from Acid onto Max. The Cade gets a little bit too aggressive. Still 3 versus 4. Vladder very lit up. Acid almost at just about half HP, and they still have not dealt with this shield. The ADS still active now, as Vladder, because he was downed, took too long to follow up after burning the first one. There's really nothing you can use to burn either, except for Ash's other breaching rounds and England's nades. Vladder will send both of his breaching rounds in, but they'll both be burned. The nade, though, comes in as the backup. England gets the kill on Whitlock as he doesn't move from behind the shield, but he's traded out by Kool-Aid with the shotgun. Flame Arrow will cut off Gunner from the rest of Freezer, but positioned by the doorway, he won't be hurt. Here comes the push and the kill from Kool-Aid with the shotgun again, and it's just Acid. He'll try to recover the diffuser, but no! He whiffs all of his shots! Acid! You gotta hit at least some of those, and Gunner, the man stuck in Freezer from Acid's utility, will find his revenge on the Capitao. Aerial Arise yet again take their laundry defense.
Gunner's played Maestro on both basement defenses, and one time he's stuck in a rotate, the other time he's stuck in Freezer because of a Capitao bull, and still lands every shot known to man. The best player in CCS for this entire season, making his presence felt already. Wichita have been sent reeling. Now, after a Dorms victory 2 rounds previous, we now head to kitchen and dining, which means the only opportunity that we have for Wichita Oblivion to go back to Dorms would be in the final round of their attack. And that's also assuming that they can't find a victory on a tertiary bomb site that isn't laundry, because that's pretty darn locked down well by Aerial Arise, and they no longer have to worry about playing it for the rest of their defense half.
Did you see
Attackers
that?
need to locate and defuse bombs.
Gunner!
I see a Warden.
Gunner's warded! Oh
Dad?
my!
Flanders.
Now,
No, he's my dad.
what's kind of weird about this is not the fact that Aerial Arise are bringing a Warden, because they bring Warden on this site. Usually it's Max. Usually Max is the Warden. Usually Gunner's the Jaeger, and Whitlock's the Smoke. They've kind of had a little bit of switch up. Kool-Aid is now on the Wamai that was previously being played by Dami. This will be the first time we see Valkyrie as well. You can kind of see also this is a perfect example of like how flexible all of Aerial Arise is. Like we went from on the basement. I don't even remember what Dami was playing. It was Max was Cade, Gunner was Maestro, Whitlock was Smoke, Kool-Aid was Mute. Oh, Dami must have been the Jaeger. Then we go on to like top floor, and it was Kool-Aid on Maestro, Whitlock on Mute, Max on Smoke, Gunner on Jaeger, Dami on Wamai, and now we're on Dining, and the roles have completely shifted again. It's always interesting seeing like how the different sites affect who plays what, and Gunner already playing a very aggressive Warden. Is he gonna peek right out the front door? And goodbye, Vladder.
Been the same attacking lineup for Wichita Oblivion as well for all of their rounds consistently, because they recognize that that's an attacking roster you can bring and make very versatile on every single site on Oregon. But it's been really ineffectual thus far, aside from the one time they were on Dorms. And when you're upstairs trying to defend Dining, you do have to take a lot of control of the substairs bomb site, which means Wichita, if they're able to clear at least one member out and make it a 4 versus 4 man count, might have a better chance of trying to attack Dining once they have more of an even count.
LMG.
I was gonna say, he
noticed.
really didn't want the par anymore. Man was determined to have a different scope.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the scope or the ammo count, of course, judging by his shots from the last round. Though Kool-Aid is gonna get a kill onto Wet Meat. England himself, no more Maverick. Of course, Hard Breach not as influential, although it's still useful, and now it's gone completely as Gunner takes out the other Hard Breacher. And Gunner gets a 3rd kill onto Acid out of the window. Jeez, and Max just drops the hatch? What? It's all right. Flawless round for Aerial on their offsite.
Probably not an offsite. They're probably asking themselves, why didn't we go to the site earlier?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the Warden pick, wonderful. I part of me wonders whether it
3
wasn't
kills.
just because it was a Warden. it's anti-flash and anti-smoke. Part of me wonders if it was just because he wanted an MPX with a 1.5.
That's actually why. So Max, when Max would play the Warden, I was kind of like, that's interesting. I wonder why Max plays the Warden. Maybe he likes the gun. And he types actually right after the game, as he types in Twitch chat, and he's like, I just like the MPX with a 1.5. So
well, there it is then.
I guess that's it. Because I guess, Dami was already running the MPX, and Gunnar was like, man, I want that gun too. I'll play Warden. So I mean, they're 4-1 up on their defense right now.
Yeah.
And now we're going back to dorms. Of course, this is the closest that Wichita Oblivion has been to winning 2 rounds. They won 1 attack. They were very close in winning the other, except Max got a 1v2. Wichita Oblivion can repeat their success and just stack up on that last player, should it come down to it. I think we might see 4-2.
Yeah, we were kind of questioning last time we were on dorms why Wichita was pushing from big window and trophy exclusively, but it almost worked. I think there was still a lot of big window pressure on round number 2 where Wichita did win this site. It was 2 players on big window, and even though they had already lost a man, they still brought things back from an early deficit. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, ARIAL Arise with the opening pick every round except 1 thus far, or have they gotten it all 5 rounds?
The opening?
I think the opening frag has always been an ARIAL player.
With the exception of round 3, when Acid got the firebolt kill on Whitlock.
Oh, there.
Yeah, because Whitlock was playing.
He was traded out almost instantly. So it's almost like
it was
an opening pick.
Whitlock was like hard right of like the big window, like playing by the bunk bed. He got flamed out, and then Kool-Aid killed both the big window players like immediately after. Oh, not again. Okay.
No.
I was gonna say there's no way they do that again.
Well, it's also Gunnar waiting for someone to peek him on T2, though no one's taking the bait except for that minute. No! Wait, he's in T2. He's looking all the way down the angle onto Armory, and down goes Vladder. No more Ash charges to help burn the ADSs, and now it falls on Gasher, rocking the Twitch in order to ensure that the ADSs have been disposed of, but they've only been deactivated. They're not totally burned anymore. But now Wichita need to step their game up. You lose one of your primary soft destructors, and now Gunnar downstairs by his lonesome, waiting for the rotate off big. He does hear it. I'm pretty sure he hears the drop, but right now he's gonna stake in the basement where he's been. Both times he's played Jaeger on this roam, he's been downstairs for most of the round, and now that there's no one in Master, he doesn't have to worry about sitting at the bottom of Armory stairs anymore.
What is going on? England is making like an ace hole with Maverick. It's a little bit odd, though. They already have, I think,
vault height.
Yeah, I think they already have one side open, so maybe it's like, when people open it with ace and then just use an ace charge for like an angle rather than opening. I mean, I guess that's a similar philosophy. Like you said, though, Gunnar is going to be going for his patented main stairs flank yet again. Vladder no longer there to be watching it, but Gunnar's actually rotated away. He'll be on his way back. I'm very interested to see at what point, what timing he decides to go for it at. England, actually, no, they have not opened the other side of the wall. It's just this weird vault hole that the attackers are going to be able to use. England is the one with the diffuser, and there's someone holding his 90-degree angle, and he peeks out a little bit too far trying to throw a nade. Gasher on the Kid Storm's Repel will trade him out. There's another couple trades. It's a 2 versus 1 out of nowhere. It's just CZ. Doesn't know about the pressure in Kid Storms. It's the shotgun from Max to finish it off. That was a very chaotic mid-round. ARIAL Arise able to find round number 6.
So hold on, we were in a 5 versus 4, and then England peeks through to bunk bed side from the hole that he made in Games Wall, dies, then everyone else dies.
Then
that's the
Gasher on Kid Storm's Repel trades out the guy who killed England. I think it was Max. Trades out Max. Then Dami peeks the attic window to kill Gasher on the Repel. While that happens, Kool-Aid dies to CZ. Then CZ refrags onto Dami. Acid dies. I don't know. Acid. Something happens to Acid along somewhere during that chaos, and then it's a 2v1. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
If you're able to recount what happens during mad, crazy, chaotic moments like that, I don't think you're going to be in T2 or T3 for very long, my friend. That's quite impressive.
One can only wish. I'm telling you, it's the 16 years of playing chess. It's the chess memory.
That would do it. How good are you? Are you good at chess? Out of curiosity?
I
Or is it
used-
just like
I used to be
a
good.
longevity from a player does not a good chess player make kind of thing?
I'm certainly not as good as Sterna. Sterna would probably clean my clock.
You should play
Well,
Sterno. That'd be fun.
That
We
would
don't
be-
really have like a Siege community chess championship, and a lot of people are getting
Maybe.
into it.
I
That'd be
remember
worthwhile.
I used to be like I used to be good when I was
5
like
seconds to insert.
younger, and then I stopped playing for a while. So I don't know how good I am anymore. I'm trying to teach I'm teaching Carter right now. Carter seems very interesting. Because Siege, and I've been using like Siege analogies, like with the chess pieces and like how they move. Because I mean Siege, a lot of like first-person shooter like Siege and CS are just it's like chess with guns.
What was the
Oh.
term Desert you used? Siege is 4D explodey chess, I think.
Yeah, I mean pretty much.
Not a bad term for it at all.
Pretty
yeah.
much.
All right, we find Wichita Oblivion on the defense. If they don't want overtime, they need 6 in a row. Uncontested, and this is a map Aerial Arise are so good at. So good that it always gets banned against them so no one can ever play it. And Gunner trying to make a case for why it should be a 6-1 right off the bat. And Dami is also trying to pressure. It's a laundry defense, but Wichita Oblivion have situated themselves all the way upstairs. Gunner finds his frag. There's the opener again. Say goodbye to Gasher. Only 1 kill to his name. And now he doesn't have all those mute jammers down. There's no chance he can make a rotate. Bladder will still make his own rotate, but now I think it leaves the Wamai almost cornered alone upstairs unless the Ash isn't able to find this frag. Bladder also his position given away from the drone. Nitro Cell will net nothing. Now Wet Meat is trying to go in and help to some extent. Here's the second kill. Down goes CZ instead. It's not the Wamai. There wasn't a Wamai. I almost thought that there was one, but it was a different MP5K player. It was Gasher. So I think that is a top floor roam being completely devastated by Aerial Arise, and a 5 versus 3. We could be sitting on match point in just a couple seconds here.
Talk about the top floor roam being quelled, but England is looking to retake it. He spots one player in the attic, though Dami seems very aware of it. Start to push the issue. He's not ready for the fight, though. England springs up, UMP in hand. He outduels the R4C. Now we're back to a 4 versus 3, though Aerial Arise still hold the advantage. Now, this is another change that we've seen from Wichita Oblivion's lineup to Aerial Arise. We have the Nomad. England's still peeking around. Kool-Aid doesn't know, but the quick peek will reveal the location of England. But I don't think England knows there was a second player there. It's Whitlock to try and force the issue again, but the Pulse with his scanner staring at his heartbeat. Down goes the laundry hatch. So far, I think they're just going to try and ignore England, maybe set someone up on a flank watch and just stare at him while the other 3 players pressure the 2 anchors on site. Vladder is very low HP. It is a very viable option. Now, Acid still, of course, has those smoke canisters in pocket. Actually, he's only got 1 left. Not sure where the first one went, but there's the second one over towards Freezer. Maybe it had gone in the same place, but Wet Meat, he'll get the kill on the Kool-Aid actually from above?
That never happens.
I don't think I've ever seen a C4 kill from above. That was odd, and now comes the last gas canister, though England, unwisely peeking those holes, will get taken out from below. Acid, though, his position is heard loud and clear by, I believe that is Max, and now it's just Vladder. Gunner is downed, but there's another kill for Vladder. It's all Max. There's only 3 seconds left. He's got to stick this plant. Can he find the refrag? No, he'll go down, but Gunner, it was Sophia! He was able to pick himself up back inside of Freezer. He revives at the exact right time, and he finds Vladder as he kills the planter. No time left on the clock, and it's a 6-1 lead for Ariel.
It was so close. But you don't have
I thought it
points
was
on.
over.
I thought it was over too,
Sophia
but you
would
don't know what
stand.
player you've downed if you've ever downed a player. It's the Zofia. She's got the ability to turn herself into a phoenix. She rises from the ashes and pushes down Freezer stairs. The distraction is the planter. The planter dies. Don't need to worry about it anymore, but there is nothing stopping Gunner from his Freezer rotate and finding the final frag. A 6-1 Wichita Oblivion's map pick, still one of Aerial Arise's greatest battlegrounds. We're here. The crucial moment. The thing that we were talking about at the beginning of this series was how pivotal Oregon was to win for Wichita Oblivion. We are going to Consulate. That is guaranteed happening. If Wichita Oblivion win on Clubhouse, then we are going guaranteed to Villa, both of which are maps Wichita Oblivion lost to Aerial Arise only 1 week ago in pretty brutal fashion. This is the opportunity that Wichita need to capitalize on, and so far, with the exception of 1 round, that came down to a 2 versus 1 clutch from CZ. Nothing that Wichita is doing is demonstrating map prowess on Oregon
10 seconds
when
left.
it matters.
Yeah, so far, Aerial Arise have just been... I mean, you can just take a look at the scoreboard. Not a single member of Wichita Oblivion is positive. The closest you've got is CZ at 5 and 6. Meanwhile, in Aerial Arise, you got Max, 10 and 4. Gunner, 10 and 2. Certainly displaying why he's the highest rated player in the league. Kool-Aid, 9 and 4 on Flank Watch Maestro. I mean, even Dami is only... I mean, he hasn't been having a heater, but he's only 1 negative. That's not awful. And Whitlock is 2 and 5, but he's on Hard Breach Smoke. I mean, if that's just not a perfect example of how dominant this map has been, then I don't know what is. And again, Wichita Oblivion are going to try going for this roam.
Okay.
That's a good start, though. We have a change. First pick for Wichita Oblivion. England gets a freebie with a C4 onto the Ash.
Though there's a lot of utility that's been devoted to this top floor roam. I believe it's either 2 operators or 3 from WO are upstairs now. The Poles can probably rotate that down main whenever they feel like it, but now Aerial Arise have to contend with 2 players that they need to clear out of position. In Wichita, the 6th man of the timer is now on their side, so you can call it 6 versus 4 to a certain extent. Having the opening pick is something they've only ever had 1 time. However, it was not in the round that they won. It was actually in a round that they came very close to winning on their defense, but it was not the main reason why they were able to claim the round. However, they do have experience with needing to shift their attacking positions around to Aerial Arise. And look at this. Finally, a man count of greater than 1, greater than 2, a 3, now 4. It's all on Kool-Aid to find these frags in Wichita Oblivion.
Okay.
If you want to turn things around, that's how you do it. A flawless round in almost no time. They're trying to save this from being a really, really quick map.
Wow. What a roam. I'd like to remind everyone, that site was laundry.
It was 2 floors above site.
That was a basement defense, and wow. What a roam. England starts things off well. He gets that opening C4. He continuously calls out info for his team, and the rest of the roamers, CZ and Vladder, well, they do work. They do what we know CZ and Vladder are able to do, and Aerial Arise just kind of fell limp. Not something we're used to, not something we usually expect from them, though it is 1 round of many that Wichita Oblivion still have to win.
Also,
They've taken 1.
by the way,
Attackers need to locate
it's not
and
dorms.
defuse bombs.
We're going
It
to
is not.
meeting.
It's meeting. They are now banking the map on meeting. Reminder, they've won 1 round. That's 1 of 5. They still need 4 more in a row. It's like, you know, like the saying goes, if you're Aerial Arise, you know, they need to be lucky every time. You only need to be lucky once.
Wichita being in this position, by the way, also isn't an undeserved one. You can call into question how both of those forfeit victories against Ablation would have affected whether or not they'd be sitting in this grand final right now, but the point
That's
is they're
true.
here. They are not a team to slouch on, regardless of how this map might be playing out. So if you're already calling it for Aerial Arise, I'm going to hold your horses because they're still guaranteed 2 more maps after this that we have to determine first. But Wichita, they're here for a very good reason, and if their reasoning to win CCS, to call themselves the CCS NA Season 5 champions, is playing sites in a really weird way, or maybe taking sites out of rotation, trying to go a little bit more unorthodox with their site picks in general, that might be the wild card that can help them excel through the rest of this series. Because there's only 2 more maps after this. And if you lose this round, you're not going to be able to show off your defending prowess on Oregon for all that much longer past the next 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So let's see how they manage to make their adjustments, because that last round was good, but it's meeting. I don't know how much confidence I have in this.
Yeah, this is it's an offsite for a reason, and Gunner is going to start things off very well for his team. He gets the opening frag on the CZ, the highest rated player on the Wichita Oblivion squad. A C4 goes out, but it's enough of a distraction for Acid to capitalize on Gunner. So it's a 1-for-1. You lose your mute, but you trade out the Zoph in terms of utility. I think that's still in the favor of the defense, but there's another kill as Kool-Aid. Okay, Kool-Aid walked through Green Hall, and he's in sight. He now has control of Kitchen. Trying to fire through the hatch. 1 will go down. Acid finds Whitlock. There's no refrag just yet. Platter as well on White Stairs. He's trying to pressure, and England just doesn't know who to look at. He's caught off guard by so many different players, but Acid yet again, his 3rd kill through the same hatch, and now we're at a 2v2. Max and Dami, Capitao and Ash against Vladder and Acid, who still hold reign on the top floor. They have that coverage, but do they have the intel to act on it? Vladder has now rotated downstairs to try and take these defenders, or take these attackers head on. They have hard pings. The plant is going down. Both players drop, but Max finds the kill. It's just Vladder to save the map in a 1 versus 2. Plant still going down from Max. He's got no denial. 2 seconds left. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a post plant, and Vladder has a lot of work to do.
He's gonna fall all the way back through split. No opportunity for Wichita Oblivion to find a counterattack. It's a massive blaze of glory with shots raining down from the ceiling. But in the end, Wichita Oblivion cannot find an equalizer and lose their map pick. If we had our predictions correct, Oregon going the way of Aerial Rise might mean the series does as well. But there's still 2 maps.
Is not of the utmost. Something else that's a little bit weird to mention. Oregon, a map that is typically a lot slower and a lot more objective based, in 10 rounds only had 2 plants, and both were max. I've spoken to some players, and some players have been saying with the new meta, Oregon has become a lot more in the swinger beat, like they call it the swinger bee swung meta right now. It's like a mix of like smoke plant and like mute Mozzie Valkyrie and like all that. They call it the swinger bee swung meta. Oregon kind of leans more into that, whereas Consulate has now become a lot more objective based. So it's kind of an interesting swap between those 2 maps, kind of like Clubhouse too. Clubhouse is a little bit more aggressive now, so it's definitely refreshing. And of course, the 2 bans are going to be Nomad, very default ban. That is a direct counter. Well, not only a direct counter, it's a default ban on Consulate, but also Jameson Kool-Aid, a Nomad aficionado.
Man's gonna have to find something else to play. What's the second most played up? I mean, on defense, he was flexing to a lot of different things because Ariel just loves to flex on defense. But
on Consulate, he'll probably play Gridlock.
Gridlock of all operators to play. All right.
He did say.
He did say that.
Smoke ban.
Yep. Wait a minute.
That's cool.
Huh? That is cool. But huh?
G2 did that.
Gunner shares my sentiment. Ooh.
Remember when G2 banned Nook and Smoke?
What map was that again?
That was Consulate against Empire.
It was Empire. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I guess that might have been like a match that happened like close to like the middle of a stage, like the end of a stage where stuff doesn't really matter nearly as much. But I'm just like, ooh.
No, it was actually an important game. It was because I remember the philosophy was they were gonna have Goga sit on cams the entire time, so they didn't want the risk of a Nook, and they were gonna take their time on the roam clears. And who punishes people who take a lot of time on the roam clears? Smoke. So G2 were like, massive brain. And it worked. They won I think they won 7-2.
Well, what else do you have in the way of area denial? Malusi's on the board this time where she was banned on Oregon. Maestro can, that's another ban that I almost thought was about to become standard. Valk on Consulate makes sense, but you're leaving a Mira up, you're leaving a Maestro up, especially when you're beginning downstairs and a Maestro still in play. That can be really, really dangerous. However, Dami is the one on the Ash and has multiple chances to knock out those Evil Eye cameras, as does Whitlocks. There's 5 different opportunities with which to destroy CZ's Evil Eyes, but it's still a pretty darn powerful operator to leave on the board for a site like this.
Huh. Kool-Aid's on Twitch. With Diffuser.
Wait.
Huh. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Kool-Aid play Twitch. Usually he's Nomad. If Nomad gets banned, he'll be on Gridlock, on Consulate. I remember that very well. Now he's Twitch. That's cool. Of course, Twitch now has stuns. She can be used for burn. She can deny the mirror windows of Acid should she get her drones in a good position, Give a good drone or Twitch, and the things they can do is unparamounted. Now, of course, you mentioned the mirror ban not coming through being a little bit odd. Mira was a staple ban, though with the resurgence of the Swinger v Swung meta, you've got a lot of people will now ban Jaeger Wamai, or sorry, not Jaeger, but they'll still ban Wamai. Sometimes you ban Goyo, ban Malusi, Valkyrie, because Valkyrie, especially with Z pinging, is excellent. Mira has kind of made her way, sort of almost back into the meta. So it's definitely interesting to see. If there's any site you're going to be seeing the Mira on, it's probably going to be Garage or Archives. Here comes the top floor clear. A very tight angle being played by Vladder. He's very aware of that entry from Gunner, thanks to the yellow ping. The first kill of map number 2 go to Vladder.
He already finds himself in a really bad spot because of those yellow pings, and all Vladder has to do is wait for them to reveal his position again and then go for the pick. However, might stop to sit at the top of yellow and not get aggro and wait for Dami to do that himself. However, looking back to the connector, he does spot the head of the Zofia, but it is not going to net anything. Reminder, the site is also 2 floors below this. Vladder does get droned, and he can make his rotate back down whenever he wants, but instead, he'll get to fight on both Kool-Aid and Dami. 2 kills, making 3 for him on the round. The 4th as he goes all the way behind Long Desk, and now it's all on Max. Can Vladder be stopped with such little HP left in his back pocket? 4 kills in the space of 30 seconds, and already Wichita Oblivion trying to equalize.
Wow. Vladder just single-handedly shutting down Aerial Arise's entire roam clear. That is impressive to say the least, and Aerial Arise, man, what are you doing? That was mispositioning, miscommunication, a lack of teamwork, just walking at the Jaeger and expecting you to be refragged. I mean, it certainly didn't work in practice. Vladder hit all of his shots, and now it's just Max. He'll fight against Acid, be able to take out Gasher on the reswing, but Acid, bringing out the shotgun, will fell Max right on his face. Wow, dominant first round from Wichita Oblivion, because Vladder decided to go huge upstairs.
First lead of the series for Wichita. It's only 1-0, but I think at this point they'd probably be screaming stop the count because they need any advantage they can get for as long as possible. And what does that say about the attack strategy from ARIAL? Not stopping. One player on yellow stairs. Sure, he had to rotate the bathroom, but he got most of his kills from the top of yellow proper. What does it say if you can't clear one person out of one position? There was no other pressure from yellow, not from the window, not from skylight. It was all admin up Visa stairs and pressuring from, it was like long desk, connector, and projector. There was no deviance from that path, and it was all Vladder had to do was sit there and wait. He's got his crosshair pointed at that side of the map. He's going to find the kills, and he did. And Aerial Arise don't make an adjustment or try to pressure from multiple sides. And remember, for a roam clear, you wouldn't need to think it's that paramount to approach from multiple sides like you would for a bomb site. But Vladder just got 4 kills, so you're going to be looking for them to not make that mistake again.
Jacob. Kool-Aid's on Ash.
We're just going to keep on figuring out what Kool-Aid's playing. Because he can't play Nomad on attack because he's like, he really has been handicapped.
He lost his Nomad and he's like,
all right, 1x Twitch, 1x Ash. What else we got in the back pocket?
Actually, I wonder if he was planning on playing Ash. Like, I was like, someone, I think it was Newt on Twitter posted a thing. He was like, who do you think the best fraggers in T3 are? And I was like, oh, you know, DP, like, Vladder, Dami, Gunner, Whitlock, like those guys. And Kool-Aid comments and he's like, wait till you see me on Ash. And I guess he wasn't kidding. And Vladder getting a little bit too brazen there off of the last round performance. Trying to go for a spawn peek. He will be immediately humbled by Max.
Wichita Oblivion had the opening pick on the last round, and instead it's up to ARIAL to clear the way themselves. Max with both kills. ARIAL's managed to stomach through 2 rounds, but still way, way, way too early to call the map in either team's favor. It would be nice if Wichita's defensive strategy means that they take the lead heading into the second half, because it would mean that they've looked at the tape from their last game against ARIAL, they've found ways to make corrections, and they've done an adequate job of doing so. ARIAL, however, because this is such a good map for them, even if Wichita is up at the half, it probably won't mean all that much. Wichita want as big a lead as they can get, knowing how bad ARIAL Arise's last map against them on Consulate was. So it'll fall on Wichita to really have the counterattack strategy in their hands.
This is certainly a little bit interesting from CC. He's got everything castled off. What that allows him to do is actually play inside of Tellers, and because ARIAL Arise aren't really pressuring from above, then, I mean, CC's just going to keep staying here. Gasher gets the first kill for his team. It's a bit of a late refrag, but he finds Max. CC, though, takes a lot of damage from, I believe that was actually Whitlock up on Spiral Stairs, and Kool-Aid wants to get aggressive. CC's tucking the right-hand corner inside the window, but Kool-Aid actually goes down to, I believe, a C4 from below. Indeed, it was Gasher's. CZ will finish him off. No really no influence from the Ash of Kool-Aid at all. We'll have to wait to see how he does on that in a later round. But CZ ducking and darting from between the windows ignores the fire from the Twitch, but Gunner finally cleans him up. A minute left. 3-on-3, ARIAL Arise now have complete control of the top 2 floors by the bomb site. It's up to Wichita Oblivion now with 1 C4 in hand, a Mira with a shotgun from below, and an Alda to hold off this push in the tellers.
The round is drastically slowed down now, as it looks like Wichita is trying to see how aggressive they can get, but ARIAL, it's almost like the floor is lava. They know that there's bound to be more explosives down below, even if they don't know how many chances that Wichita have to stop a diffuser from going down. The drones will go through. They're not focusing on a bottom floor take nearly at all, but the problem is the Pulse is the one with the nitro cell, and he has to both whip it out or scan first, then whip it out and try to detonate it. It has not been ripped just yet, but the diffuser is going down. England's not able to find its position almost until it's too late. Diffuser will go down. Dami will be taken out of the equation. Now a 2 versus 2, but it still comes too late. And now England and Acid need to force their way up the staircases and find these last couple of frags. Acid loses almost all of his HP through 1 explosion. 1 frag nade will take him down to below 10 HP. And now England trying to find the equalizer. Whitlock is gone. It's all on Gunner with 2 kills left to find. His position has been given away, but there's no chance for him to make his rotate back down, which means England has to push. Gunner is aware of his position. He looks away at the last minute. He pushes into TV. Down goes England, but Acid's on the counter defuse. Can this sledge find the kill? Yes, he can. Almost at the last minute does Gunner let it slip through his fingers, but instead it'll be ARIAL Arise, and we're back at a 1-1.
All right, so much better attack from ARIAL Arise. It was really close, but they still put it out, and I really have to question the Pulse play. How long did he stare at the guy defusing? And he just didn't use the nitro. Dami didn't move. Dami was sticking it. And by the time he finally decides, okay, this must be the planter, I'm going to C4 him, sure, he kills him, but it's too late. It's a 2v2 post plant. Whitlock already got a kill onto one of the other. I believe he took out Gasher. That is just England and Acid. Sure, you kill Whitlock. It's a 1v2, but Dami has the high ground. He has the holes above to deny anyone trying to counter defuse. Great game sense as well, or calls from his team, whichever one it was, to know that England was going to have to push upstairs, because at that point, you're not going to get that counter defuse off unless you have some kind of distraction or you kill Gunner. England went with the latter option. Gunner was just waiting and watching. Easy fight against the UMP, and from there, I mean, Acid was 1 HP. He's got to try and counter defuse. Sure, the time gets low. He's almost able to do it, but Gunner has upstairs control. He knows he's 1 HP. Gunner's going to peek that confidently. He wastes no time in felling him. And ARIAL Arise are able to tie it up. It was a good try. The defense inside of Tellers itself with CZ was definitely interesting. It's definitely a little bit of a spin, because usually you don't see anyone inside of Tellers proper, because it's kind of a weird spot to play, especially with how exposed it is to the top floor. That was definitely interesting, but sometimes, you know, I think Kix describes some of those strategies as cute. Sometimes, just because it's different doesn't mean it works. Wichita Oblivion will try again, though. Looks like they're opting a very similar strategy. Hopefully, as well, you know, having Vladder around in the late round instead of dying off a spawn peak can help turn the tides.
And back to split, and it seems as though it's mostly the same defensive setup. CZ will stick inside Tellers by himself with rotates and castles up galore as he was in the last round. But you're right, provided that Vladder doesn't lose his life off an early engagement, and I think he's already playing a little bit more passive than he was previous to this. And now Dami's forced his way up, and now top floor control has been completely assumed by ARIAL Arise. The positioning for the rest of Wichita Oblivion seems like it's not really focused on playing aggressive right now. Vladder will just hold a position on piano, kind of waiting for someone to make that peak, but everyone on the top floor for ARIAL isn't going nearly towards yellow or that side of the map near at all. Instead, they're focusing on blowing out the floor directly above Tellers. They're trying to focus on Vista. They're looking for these positions where they can go right back upstairs after the diffuser's gone down and defend it from a floor above. Gunner, first frag of the round, will fall in his hands from the L85, and down goes CZ, who I believe was the only man on the Tellers bomb site, which means so much of this defense is now only How much floor can we destroy from below?
Yeah, CZ was the guy inside of Teller's. Gunner doing the same thing he did last round, which was going above and using his sledgehammer to good use. He finds the kill on that lone Teller's anchor, and now the site has been a little bit freed up. Gasher takes a lot of damage from above. He's down to below 25 HP on the Mira. Of course, he's still got a C4 in pocket. Doesn't necessarily have to expose himself, and there it goes. An excellent kill on a Kool-Aid yet again. The Ash main not gonna have much of an influence on this round. He's able to light up Gasher, but Gasher certainly got his revenge in full. Now we're back down to a 4-on-4. Aerial Arise still trying to look to push into the site, but they're worried about this roam from Flatter. He's currently hanging out by Antechamber, and you can see Whitlock is very tentative about his position on the Spiral stairs because of the Melusi. He will train his eyes on Spiral. He's got a teammate to help him. Vladder will start to rotate over towards Yellow, but Gasher yet again through the floor. He finds the kill on a Max, but Vladder exposes himself to Whitlock. Acid with a refrag on a Gunner. Down goes the Sledge and a big player from the previous round, and now it's 30 seconds left. 2-on-3. Still a C4 in pocket for England.
Waiting for the moment to use it again. Everything is really slowed down, but now because Wichita have a man advantage, it's probably not that big of a deal. Problem is, Pulse still down below. You might need to want to go for these fights rather than go for the plant. As soon as England recognizes that there's one member all just stationary on the site, he's gonna go for the C4 rip. He does go for it, but he gets shot out instead. Wichita Oblivion bungle yet another defense. It'll fall on Damian Whitlock to defend this diffuser for the next couple of seconds. Dasher forces his way up the stairs. He falls to the F2. A 2 versus 2 now. It's Acid in England again in a post plant. It's all up to them to make the difference. Acid forces his way back up to Spiral, looking for someone above him, but there's so much time being wasted while he rotates back upstairs. There's a good kill from England through the slats, all on Whitlock. He has 17 seconds left to work with. He needs to stop the Maestro from coming in, but no, it will be England and Acid to clutch out a 2 versus 2 after a whiffed Nitro Cell, and Wichita finally win a split defense.
Takes 2 tries, but they're still able to do it. They gave away the plant again, but that was an excellent retake. This time, Aerial Arise flushing out Tellers a lot more fluently, though Gasher bringing 2 back in his team's favor through the floor was excellently done. After that, Dami, sure, he gets the kill on a Gasher, but he's very low HP, and even that didn't matter. The tight angle was spotted by England, and he dies through the floor. Whitlock playing inside of paper as well, tries to swing onto the Maestro, and unfortunately, Whitlock just whiffs his shot. I guarantee if Whitlock wins that fight, he wins the round, but that's just one of those engagements where all it comes down to was that 1v1 gunfight, and it just didn't come up Whitlock. That time, England and Acid, monumental clutch, keeping their team in the lead, as now we move on to lobby. Although Garage has been unlocked, that's where Flatter got his 4K. They'll opt to go lobby instead. They'll go to the middle floor defense, and we'll likely see a similar roam upstairs.
Also, can I just bring up one thing? Is it safe to say that the Nomad ban was actually a Kool-Aid target ban? Look at the man.
Yeah, I wonder.
Oh,
Because
no.
normally it's like, oh, you know, it's Consulate. People ban Nomad. But it's like, it's Consulate. People ban Nomad. And Kool-Aid likes Nomad.
Yeah.
So it's like a combo of the two. It's like, normally you ban Consulate, but you have the added benefit of taking it away from Kool-Aid.
It's true. I also really appreciate the Oryx pick here from England. A lot of verticality can be utilized on just this side alone. The question becomes, will he play on the first floor? Will he play on the top floor, which is where a lot of this utility and this site structure is being set up for Wichita Oblivion. Both hatches, both drop downs, the one in piano and the one directly above circle desk, have now been opened. It's going to fall on presumably a really hardcore roam and perhaps sticking in projector for Wichita Oblivion. That is where Aerial Arise will need to put their focus. Shotgun pistol, the bailiff, this wonderful little devil. It's creating all these different angles that Wichita can also watch from above. But if Aerial Arise takes control of projector, they will also be able to use their holes, or those holes, to their advantage.
They can Wichita the angles.
Oh boy.
Wait, is that a hollow? What the hell? What are you doing, Acid?
It's not a 2x!
Alright, Gunner is gonna fall though. Gasher with the first kill. That's definitely a curious decision, but Acid still gets the kill on the map. So far, these 2 anchor players doing all the work for Wichita Oblivion. Neither Max nor Gunner are able to find any success in this round. Good start for Wichita on this defense. Of course, this is, again, very much needed round. You want to extend your lead as far as you can, especially with how good Aerial Arise are on Consulate. Every round you get could be could be game-changing. Kool-Aid is has now swapped off the R4C to the G36, and Acid gets a little bit too brazen on those windows. Whitlock finally finds a refrag, and the run-out does not work for the Oryx. It takes a little bit, but Kool-Aid finally gets the kill, but through the floor. CZ has an angle on the window. Kool-Aid goes down, back to a 2-on-3.
Still an opportunity for ARIAL to pull this back. And the question is, can they do it with the amount of time that's been effectively wasted? Fuse are in their control, but so much of this has been devoted towards the top floor, with the exception of Gasher, who'll just peek through the window and knock out the Twitch. Now Whitlock again in a situation where he needs multiple kills. He wasn't able to do this last time. It was a 1 versus 2 in the previous round, but instead he's going for the frags. He's not positioning himself for that diffuser because he knows Wichita are already looking at it, and in the event someone tries to go back for it, it's already too late. He tries to go for the spray through the bathroom wall. It does not net a kill, and instead it does for Vladder through the rotate, and Wichita Oblivion making a very, very strong case on Consulate. Remind me, the last time they played Consulate, it was a 7-2 what for ARIAL Arise?
7-2.
So they've already won more rounds than they did in that previous matchup. Good for them.
Yep. That is improvement. Good job to Wichita Oblivion.
Silver lining. We'll take anything from Wichita at this point.
that hold, the anchor hold in particular, was really well done. Gasher and Acid using the windows to their advantage. A lot of people don't like Consulate because of how the repels play out and how it usually goes into the attacker's favor, but Acid and Gasher playing them beautifully. Gasher got 2 kills. Of course, Acid was traded back, but he had coverage from above. I believe it was CZ through the floor. Great angle for him. And from there was not a lot that Wichita Oblivion, or not a lot that ARIAL Arise could do at that point. It was a 1v3 for Whitlock. Unfortunately, Whitlock, as his shot was not landed on that guy in back. There was a lot of whiffs there from the Zofia. Vladder will finally get another kill, his first since round number 1. He had a little bit of a nap between rounds, but I'm sure he's back to being fully charged. Back to Garage, back to where Vladder got that original 4K, back when that roam was oh so influential. Hopefully ARIAL Arise have learned their lesson and don't just push 4 guys up long desks.
Yeah, I would hope that when you have one guy who gets a 4K and you can't even really worry about your site execute, and you've been to this site already, I would certainly hope that they don't dedicate so much to just clearing one guy out. And if they do, maybe they can diversify the angles that they hold or the avenues that they take towards Yellow Stairs, or trying to destroy Vladder before that execute comes through. We'll see how things work. For the moment, it does seem like the lineup for ARIAL Arise has now settled into place. It was something we were a little confused about with the Nomad ban in terms of what Kool-Aid was going to play, but I think Dami on the Twitch has been what they want to settle on. But Dami also hasn't been able to do that much. He has the exact same KD and assist record as Kool-Aid, so who is better on those operators? I don't totally know. And Acid's got to use the restroom, and he can't. He's playing Mira.
Not even the power of God can hold back the gates.
Oh, no.
We saw a pre-placed Nitro from earlier from Gasher, and it will find its mark onto Whitlock yet again. Oh. But Gunner, okay, Gunner's just gonna run downstairs and get his revenge. Gasher barricading the double door is found. And also, here's that player who just shot the drone. He doesn't exactly know where. It's actually CZ from up above. Vladder gets a nice pick, refragged by Max. Back to a 3v3. Even man count. It's only been a minute. We've already had 4 deaths. Much quicker paced round so far. England trying to come up for a flank. He and Vladder, in fact, the defenders are the ones pinching. That is an odd run out, but Max isn't ready for it. He nearly finds the second. But Kool-Aid finally finding some influence in the rounds on the Ash. Gets the refrag. So now England and Acid. England with no C4. Acid with 1 still in pocket. England rejoins him on the site. It's Dami and Kool-Aid, the Twitch and the Ash, the duo entries. Try and find ARIAL Arise a second round.
It's becoming the Rise Nation duo show. These two guys are trying to put Wichita on their back, so to speak. Even if they're not trying, it's been how the narrative of this map has progressed so far. And Kool-Aid and Dami, certainly no slouches, especially when Kool-Aid has been putting in as much work as he has been. 2nd overall for ARIAL Arise through the CCS season from a stats perspective. He's doing a great job. They'll need a 2 versus 2 with his teammate to see if it can't become a 3 versus 2 and stop Wichita from decisively winning their defensive half. Here comes Kool-Aid through the drop down, looking for the pick. He already has the information from Dami's drone. So much HP back and forth, but it'll be wet meat to drop behind the table and find the kill on the crouch.
Why?
Now it's all on Dami.
Kool-Aid peeked the door reloading. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
That didn't make sense. Like he sprayed, he lit up the pulse, and then he reloaded and repeaked while reloading. Tommy is also going to whiff his shots into security. He's got 2 bodies bearing down on him. He'll try to rotate. He catches England off guard, but he can't flick around and find acid on the repeak. Wichita Oblivion take round number 5. There are a couple of unfortunate whiffs from the last 2 attackers cost them the round.
Kind of seems like C4 placements are being the absolute bane of Ariel Arise's existence right now. As another pre-placed, and that's not the first time that an opening frag has fallen the way of Wichita Oblivion by way of a Nitro Cell. So, for the moment, Wichita Oblivion are doing a really, really good thing with just explosives. Now we move on to round 6, the final half of their defense, and they are in a position yet again on split, which they won once off a clutch and lost once off a clutch. With explosives down below, but if memory serves me right, they only have 2 operators with Nitro Cells, as opposed to both of their previous split defenses, they had 3. So your explosive economy matters a lot more in this instance, unless Acid is also intending to maybe use those impact grenades from below. You can make rotates with maybe the impacts on Vigil, if Vigil's intent on roaming, or with the Bailiff from Acid. But if you're playing bottom up, like you do almost every time on split, it's going to come down to how those nitros are utilized.
Yeah, it's going to be...
10 seconds left. 5 seconds remaining.
So far, I mean, the Pulse has had a lot of success on this site. I wonder why they've opted to switch off of it. So if anything, the Pulse is one of the main reasons why they've been able to win these rounds.
Yeah, why bring a Mira over a Pulse in this scenario? If Mira's playing downstairs, which she was setting up rotates from server to the hallway, or from archives to the hallway, downstairs on the bottom floor.
I guess they're kind of doing like a top-down on archives. Because they got like the Vigil upstairs, Vladder's kind of hovering upstairs as well. Gasher's upstairs too. Someone just swung in the bathroom. Now, Dami is already up there. I don't think he knows that Vladder is by yellow stairs. Vladder's going to throw up a C4. No one's actually standing on it. It's likely just a pre-placed in which he'll wait for the call from his team. That is an early swing already, and hitting the barbed wire, Dami is just going to go down.
That pre-place might not even be necessary if no one vaults through the window, and I'm curious if Vladder can retrieve it, because right now CC is the only member on the top floor. There's 2 Aerial Arise players, I think actually no, 3, that are trying to get this Vigil out of position before they're able to make anything else work. Here comes the trade. Vladder and Gunner actually trade one another out, but there still leaves the problem of CZ upstairs, which has now been tasked to Whitlock. He has help from a drone that's going to go straight in and see if... Sorry, no, it is Gasher as opposed to CZ. I think he's already rotated back out. There comes CZ back through admin yet again. There were 2 players inside, even tricked us a little bit, and now it all falls down to this top floor roam. A minute and a half gone. 6 players dead, and Gasher is still upstairs. If Ariel can't clear him out, they can't even worry about the bomb site. Here comes Gasher on the swing, but no, it'll be Max to clean him up, and now, no pulse. 1 Nitro Cell, it all falls to England, who's holding a really aggressive position at the bottom of Visa.
On the drone, that roam.
A bomb has been located.
It's got holes through the floor. I imagine they've still got Evil Eyes in sight, and Kool-Aid has no breaching rounds. So, yeah, there's the red pings. They really have no way to get rid of it. They're gonna try planting. In fact, no, that's not actually a plant. That's a breaching charge coming down. Maybe they'll use that as cover to try and kill while she's C4, but there's just pings everywhere, and he gets a kill through the floor. Kool-Aid, as he bends over, gets headshotted, and now it's just Max. England has been playing this perfectly, and Max is going to say, you know what? We can't pressure that. There's Evil Eyes watching us. He's got a C4. I'll just peek around, but England challenges down the blue hallway. Max is better in the fight, and Ariel Arise. They don't let things slip away too drastically. They take a 2-4 half as they move on to their defense.
Oh, Mira didn't have to swing. She didn't. She doesn't have to challenge the angle, even if she's got a 1.5 on the vector. It's not something that she needs to go for. It's so close in a 1 versus 1 scenario and so tempting to try to hunt for that last kill. But when your goal needs to be to make Max hunt for that final frag because time's not on his side, it's, oh man. And we could be sitting at a 5-1 half now, but instead, Arial Arise are cinching in at a 2-4 scoreline, and 6 picks been used. Sledge is gone. Capitao is in. This isn't the first time we've seen Nook in all of CCS, is it? It's the first time in a long time we've seen it, period. But a Nook pick for Wichita Oblivion. Is this the wild card they're hoping for?
Yeah, I feel like we have seen Nook before? Maybe? I don't know, but
Attackers have discovered the location
I guess we'll see what CZ can do. That's gonna be weird. But we got Warden again. Max loving that 1.5 on the MPX. Gunner on his famed Mozzie that he loves oh so much. His main operator for the season so far. But he and Max are the only ones positive. Right now, Kool-Aid, Whitlock, and Dami not having the best of games. Meanwhile, in Wichita Oblivion, not a single player is negative. The worst you got is CZ at 4-4. This is kind of maybe the resurgence that they were looking for, especially after losing Oregon by such a drastic margin. Of course, Acid on the Dokkaebi has been lethal as of as of late.
Yate.
Yeah, I don't know why I just said Yate. He's loved that operator. He's loved the DMR. He's also been playing the. He also played a lot of Lion DMR last time they played console. So I guess he's loving the 3-time scope. The way Aerial Arise tend to roam on this site is kind of weird. It's like they sit maybe two people upstairs, and then when one of them dies, someone else rotates up, and like they keep like stacking layers. I wonder how Wichita Oblivion are gonna opt to deal with that.
Well, 2 players on a top floor roam right now for Aerial Arise, the Jaeger and the Mozzie, like we talked about before, but the Mozzie has rotated away from that bomb site, though it does appear someone already might have gone back up these stairs. There's still 2 players to contend with Wichita Oblivion before they make it out. Here comes the Nitro Cell, the long arm. That's nothing. It's not the right position. Wet Meat has been taken down to 75 HP in the interim. So, Gunner's actually rotated below. He was in Projector not 20 seconds ago, and now he's waiting for garage pressure, maybe coming from the yellow stairs side of things, and does fall on Dami. He's looking for any sort of really, really long peek, but no one from Wichita is nearly that far back. First frag is Max onto England, so say goodbye to the Capitao. And plenty of time left for Wichita to work with. However, it seems like they're a little bit too tentative. They're not really certain which way they need to push. And finally, Vladder's the first man on Wichita to make it into the building.
Yeah, it's been cautious so far, and all that's really done for him is cost him a life. CZ, though, here's the Nook. He's being sneaky, trying to come up yellow stairs, but Max still gets the kill! Amazing play so far from the Warden. He's gotten 2. Vladder looking for the refrag. He lights the Warden up, but Max still gets away, and he's still persisting on the top floor. Kool-Aid takes a bullet from the DMR, as Whitlock also takes some damage, but a Gunner just walks at the front door. Sure, it's traded out, and Vladder gets one onto Dami. Now the top floor going in the hands of Wichita Oblivion, but Kool-Aid gets Acid, and now it's just Vladder as Gasher's down by the front door. Wow, that was a long pre-fire. Nearly costs him the entire mag, but he gets the late headshot there on the Max. And Whitlock and Kool-Aid, they're both very low HP. They also don't have any more C4 or plant denial between them unless Whitlock has Evil Eyes up. Now, he'll be able to zap Gasher down. Vladder's a different story. Never mind. Vladder's dead. Whitlock with that kill. Here comes the smokes in the antechamber. Gasher trying to make his way through, but even though Kool-Aid's retaking the top floor, Whitlock from down long finds his second kill. Aerial Arise take their first defense.
Whitlock with 2, Warden with 2. There's no chance for the last player to have any impact on the round, and now Aerial Arise beginning to storm in on their comeback. It's still an interesting way for Consulate to fare, a map that you can either say is a 50-50 or, you know, really an attacker-sided map, more so than most other maps in the pool. It's the only one, by the way, that we're seeing that is most assuredly an attacker-favored map, because Coastline has been removed from play. It was actually the next map in this rotation, been banned out by Wichita Oblivion. We will not see it, which means if you want a map that statistically, historically, attacking teams have always done really well on, Wichita Oblivion now have another chance to pull this series to within not the overwhelming deficit that we thought it was going to be when we started. So, it's 3 rounds. That's all Wichita needs. 3 rounds 2 if it needs to go to overtime, 4 if we do go to overtime. Right now, focus on your objective, play things smartly. Don't worry about playing things fast and aggressive all the time, because Aerial Arise will see through that smoke screen.
Hello. Now, we have the famed Aerial Arise, top-down archives hold. Lucy, Maestro, Mozzie, Jaeger, Mira. Whitlock is going to sit in the filing cabinet at the southeast corner of the room, supported by Gunner in the northeast, playing for the aptly named Gunner C4 out the admin windows. Dami covering the backside, making sure these roamers inside of admin can't be pushed from paper. He'll be kind of situated in and around like Projector and Soda Machine. Dami is there just for that extra coverage. Interestingly enough, Max plays inside of Visa as the Maestro. And last but not least, you have Kool-Aid downstairs. Sure, he's alone, but he's got the mirror window for coverage, and if he spots out an early push, either on the camera or in the blue hallway mirror, he'll be able to call his teammate back. Now, already, it seems like Aerial Arise are aware of the garage push going on, and they'll already rotate Gunner downstairs and leave Whitlock and Dami up.
Here come Dokkaebi calls, but Acid's positioned downstairs looking for these frags, as is CZ, so the rotate will not net any of the 2 players that are still on top of the map. Acid trying to go for, at very least, some pressure, if not some immediate kills. Both Dami and Whitlock can make their rotates down whenever they feel like it, but it seems like it's still primarily a bottom floor take with almost nothing situated on tellers. Kool-Aid trying to get the kill on the sledge, who's droning. There's no chance for him to recover, and CZ goes down on a drone in the corner, and there's no coverage from Flatter, nothing from Acid. All you do is lose your sledge, and the mirror scampers away. A massive thing to lose in a situation like this, and so far, Aerial Arise, they're not even after doing anything on their top 4 defense of tellers. Instead, it's a kill downstairs, and Vlader now has to be kicking himself for losing a member of his team so easily.
Wow, Kool-Aid really just pressed W and got a kill, huh? It's that easy. Now, Vlader very tentative about the spiral stairs. He looks away at the wrong time, and Whitlock gets both! He gets Vlader and Gasher. Kool-Aid again tries for the famed W strategy, but Acid catches him, but there's a refrag from Max. Wait, England got the kill! I mean, Max finishes off, but England kicked him in the face! That's the second time I've seen that! First in CL, now in CCS. I mean, they lost the round, but that's still funny. But Aerial Arise, they now take their second defense in a row. They tie us up.
It's even funnier because of the observer glitch when you're going through windows. He was still at like a 75-degree angle flying through the window.
I was like, because there was a smoke in front of it too, so I was like, wait, what window is that? And then he kicks Dami in the face and floors him. That was pretty good. Whitlock too. Whitlock, that was a round-changing flank right there on Spiral.
Yeah, he comes down Spiral and finds everyone except Acid. I thought it was going to be 2 players coming from bottom Visa, going through that hallway, and maybe Acid was going to flank as well from Garage. No, it's just both players, and Acid still like back in kitchen and hasn't pushed yet. So Whitlock kills both of those other 2 players, goes right back up, and that round was kind of the example of go for an ill-advised flank, win the fight, immediately leave, and don't take another fight. So it's really, really good trigger discipline from Aerial Arise to go straight in, find the kill, and then they just leave. So you don't lose your life, and you still have an opportunity to force even more time wasted off the board. And aside from that one Kool-Aid push with Mira, everything was played really, really well from Aerial Arise.
I think the strategy there was actually because Kool-Aid was walking up down Blue Hall. As Max was coming down Visa, I think they figured like they would just duo push the last guy in Cafeteria. So maybe it wasn't as dumb as it initially looked from Kool-Aid. I think that was a little bit more well coordinated than we probably give him credit for. But either way, Aerial Arise, we're tied up now. It's 4-4. Aerial Arise's defenses also tend to be a little bit better than their attacks on this map. So I think now is when it really starts to get difficult for Wichita Oblivion, despite them holding the lead after the first half. Of course, now we're on Garage. We've got the Oryx from Max, and we've got a roam setup from Aerial Arise, roam setup that they love running. Pretty much no matter what site they're on, you can kind of bank on the fact that they're going to have top floor presence, but Gunner, he gets a little bit too aggressive, and Acid, watching the window, drops him. And it looks like we're actually, we're having a Garage door rush? No. I saw people stacking outside the garage door. I thought they were just gonna sprint through.
I mean, at that point, it might actually work because Aerial Arisers split a little bit on two different sides, waiting for the approach, not only from Garage, but Max can do something with this T5, especially the Oryx having a buff of a 1.5x on a T5 SMG has always been scary ever since it got introduced when he and Melusi swapped. So every time I see that, I'm like, oh, it's really good. So Dami top yellow. He can go back and help the rest of his team if it's required when Whitlock has so little HP now after an engagement with an LED5 doesn't go his way. But I don't believe Wichita have droned this yet. His position atop of yellow still might be kept secret because the pressure is only from Garage, and I'm not seeing anything from Spiral or from Archives, nothing. It's all situated on how this last minute and 30 seconds goes, smoking things out and waiting for this. Oh no, the C4 gets shot! Trying to go for the diffuser, it's even easier for them to do it now. Dami at the top, he still wants some kind of flank, but Wichita are not giving in to the bait.
They also didn't push. They just smoked.
It's still really slow.
I wonder if that was just a bait, because they do have the smokes on the Capital. So I wonder if that smoke was specifically to bait out the C4.
Aces smokes to bait and then do it again, but for real.
And now they have Kool-Aid down, so the Maestro can't use his cams. This is so far a perfect storm for this push. CZ takes a little bit of damage, but Max swings out from Cafeteria just as the Twitch walks down yellow.
Comes Dami.
Acid finishes off Kool-Aid. Here's the flank from Dami. He finds one, but there's another kill for Acid. It's a 1v3 for the Jaeger. He finds another, and he's still got that top floor control. Now Acid and Vladder have to figure out some way. Are they going to push this last defender, or are they going to plant? Vladder's inside of security. He's tucked in, holding the flank by Spiral, and the plant will go down by the hop. Dami is coming down from Spiral stairs, just where Vladder was previously flank watching, but he takes too much time, and now it's a post-plant. Acid will likely retreat back outside, leaving Vladder to cover from security. Here come the shots, but unfortunately for Dami, he sees the tracers, but can't land it. It's a triple kill for Acid and a well-played bait inside of the garage to give Wichita Oblivion their lead back.
I like the strategy of chuck two smokes, do nothing, and then do both smokes again, but you actually meant to go for the push the second time. It's almost like you're baiting with a full smoke complement. It's a bit of a risky play, but they made it work.
And you know why it worked? Because smoke
the nitro was gone.
The smoke is gone. So they know, hey, they have one C4, at the most two. If we can get them to waste those, bam. No plant denial.
Pretty darn easy. Yeah, it was only the mirror of their operator selection. Mozzie was there, but Mozzie didn't do anything in there. Oryx?
He can sprint off the white van and get you.
I mean, I guess he'll just bust through the wall like Kool-Aid Man through the rotate because they only had the rotate but no reinforcement next to it. So you just bust through it and be like, no!
No, it was Max on the Oryx, not Kool-Aid.
Oh, it was Max, my bad, yeah. Still though. I hate you so much, and I'm trying not to say it out loud. Oh boy. A reminder that this is Ariel Arise's pick.
Yes.
Wichita Oblivion were not able to win their own map pick of Oregon earlier in this series. This grand final will come down to whether Wichita can equalize on Ariel Arise's pick, which, by the way, they won last time these two teams played. It's so far a pretty remarkable example of adaptation from Wichita due to how this map has played out. It wasn't this clean. It was really hard and fast. Ariel Arise just kind of decimated, only allowed Wichita to win 2 rounds and then kind of left again. So the fact that Wichita have turned things around in such a drastic fashion and have kept things competitive is a really good sign. However, don't count out Ariel Arise just because there's a 1-round deficit on the board. At one point, this was a 4-1 scoreline. They have won 3 rounds thus far since then to help equalize things.
Yeah, I think OT is a reasonable conclusion as of right now. And I just noticed there's a Blackbeard. CZ is playing Blackbeard DMR. He almost just destroyed that guy through the wall, unless there's a reinforcement there. That was almost scary for, I think that's Dami. Alright, so they got Blackbeard. What does Blackbeard do? Blackbeard is, he locks down an angle. He sits at a window, and if you try and fight him, you're probably gonna die. The unfortunate thing about this particular window is you don't have a Nomad, so you could potentially be very susceptible to the yellow stairs run out. CZ, already you see him kind of looking over there nervously like, I don't want to get flanked. The barricade is still up, so I mean, it'll reveal a sound cue if someone does go for that. But, you know, you can hear him rattling off shots. He's just trying to get pressure on those people inside of Connector, the people down long inside of Projector, as well as so far Aerial Arise's roam has not been shaken. Here comes the run out. CZ was ready for it. And down goes Gunner. Another one for Vladder as down goes Max. Tommy will get the first refrag. So far, Wichita Oblivion are in the drivers.
They're doing a really good job of shutting down Gunner at almost every opportunity. A man with 11 kills and 4 deaths in the last map has not had the same kill-death record here, and it definitely shows. The best player in CCS has been forced into a corner, and now so has Whitlock. He takes almost all of his HP down so close, and Dami off of 1 explosion is now past the 75 HP mark down to the 65 HP mark. Blade needs to find some sort of equalizer. He gets the Blackbeard shield, but it's the wrong operator to go up against instead. CZ goes for the push, and Kool-Aid still wins that fight. Dami can't survive inside Connector for long enough, however, and now Acid can just try to pressure Whitlock. He's down by himself. No one else on his team can help out, and he can't use his own Meister cams if he has to constantly ADS with the Alda. Push in from Yellow Stairs, needs to go up and try to find some kills, but you're roaming as a 1 speed, and it takes so long with so much of a sound cue. And this is something Wichita are very aware of. Gatcher drops the hatch, goes for the plant. Acid finds the final kill, and Wichita Oblivion put themselves onto map point. Can they make this a 1-1 grand final?
Wichita Oblivion so far have been extremely impressive on Consulate. A lot of that being shutting down Gunner and winning their opening picks. So far, they are 1 and 2, 2, 3, 4 and 2. They're 6 and 4, I think, right now in the entries. Which, you want to go ahead and take a look at the score line. I think you can figure out why that's reflective of how this map has gone so far. They've been able to find the entry picks pretty consistently, at least on their attacks. They've shut down Gunner pretty early. Gunner hasn't really had a lot of big plays, and that's hurt Arial, clearly. Arial are now down 2 rounds. They're gonna try lobby again, but I mean, last time their roam got crushed. Gunner not prepping that barricade earlier really punished him. I mean, that's a massive sound cue for CZ to just whip around. He was, I think, behind like the railings. So it was hard for Gunner to get the shots down. Everyone upstairs died. Whitlock, who was already lit up, was forced to take a 1v1 like across the map against that sledge. I mean, it's Aerial Arise so far. Their roams have not been as good as we're used to seeing. In Wichita Oblivion, it looks like they just got this map figured out.
Yeah, by comparison, Wichita Oblivion's roams on defense looked very stout. Not a whole lot of breathing room for Aerial Rise to work with, and it meant that they were playing into Wichita's hands more often than not. And I think the way that this map began, with Vladder's 4K at the top of Yellow, helped to really set the pace. It was a round that could very well have turned the opposite direction from Aerial, but they didn't make the necessary adjustments. Again, on that site, when they went back to Garage, it was another Wichita Oblivion win. So there's one site that Wichita figured out very well that forced them into a 4-2 half that meant that Aerial Arise have been fighting off their own back foot this entire time. Acid with an angle tries to take down Kool-Aid, but he should wisely back away from the window. I think he was just trying to knock out the Prisma. Oh, the nade misses though, just off the sill. So now Kool-Aid will need to retreat back to the bomb site, and he has done so, but Gunner now going underneath the site. This man has not been activated just yet, and with a Roni in his hands, you'd think he would have a chance.
CZ's in cafeteria. Does Gunner doesn't know! What? What?
I don't think either one of them know there's someone there. No!
What do you want? They've got no clue! Gunner's gonna run out. He's gonna fall right into the trap of the Blackbeard, though. So finally, it's a little bit late, but CZ finds him. That was a little bit odd, but CZ still comes away with the kill because Gunner didn't check cafeteria. And I mean, why would you? Why would Blackbeard be down there? I don't know, but it worked. So CZ gets the frag. Max is looking for the trade, but CZ's not getting aggressive, and in fact, Gasher will finish off Kool-Aid, who was lit previously by the teammate of Acid. There's still someone on the balcony. It's Acid to find Dami, and it's just Whitlock and Max to try and save the map. This could be the end of Aerial Arise's undefeated streak. Now Whitlock taking up position. He finds Gasher on the swing in, but there's the refrag from CZ coming up from Yellow Stairs. That Max is no longer covering. He's got angles down to the circle desk. He gets one on the Vladder, but he's still got 3 to find, and one of them is a Blackbeard. England is now carrying the diffuser. Here comes the vault, but right into the waiting arms of CZ. It's a 3K for the SR-25, and Wichita Oblivion will be the first team to beat Aerial Arise on Consulate.
The undefeated streak on Consulate goes in the gutter as Arial can't win their own pick. Last time they were here, they dominated the Oblivion. And this time around, their chance flies right out the window. Congratulations to Wichita Oblivion for now turning this from a best of 5 effectively into a best of.
Of course, with the Hibana changes, she's going to be a guaranteed ban. A lot of times we see Hibana Maverick taking out 2 of the hard breachers. Or we see, you know, it's usually Hibana Maverick or Hibana Thatcher. It's going to be one of those. It's whether or not Aerial Arise decide to ban Thatcher or Maverick first, and then force Wichita Oblivion to take the Hibana. Because Hibana, at this point, is probably rivals Ace as the best hard breacher. And yeah, Aerial
Probably,
Arise
yeah.
being on defense first, they just don't want to deal with her ability to open hatches.
It would be really interesting if we also saw a Thermite ban here. That would be such a different way to play Clubhouse. Is that the play? Nope, it is the map. You had it on the money. So, Thatcher has been left up for the previous map, and he was used pretty darn effectively on console. It was banned out for the first map on Oregon, and I believe we also had a game in the last week, I want to say, where Thatcher was still not like totally insta-banned out, but still is an operator that everyone in CCS, at least for North America, has concluded is not one that they need to worry about all that often. If he's on the board, he'll play it. You can definitely still work around every single map that you play without the use of his EMP grenades. Melusi, second time she's been banned in the series thus far, and Mira, the second time she has also been clipped. And now Aerial Arise, another defensive-sided map, another one that's seen some changes as a result of the Neon Dawn meta. Can they make this a 2-1 series heading into their next map pick?
Well, of course, Mira and Melusi, actually the 2 operators that were not banned on Consulate. It was Valkyrie Smoke. Smoke was definitely an interesting one and worked to Wichita Oblivion's advantage, clearly, because they had won. Aerial Arise, of course, because this is Wichita Oblivion's map pick, will get the first selection of sides, and they are going to go to church. And this is interesting. This is something that England has done in the pro scene, and he'll bring it down to T3 with him. He's going to opt for the Fuse. With Fuse's new changes and the lack of Jaeger Wamai, Fuse can clear utility like no other. Granted, if it's a bottom floor or first floor site. If it's a top floor site, he can't really do anything. But because kitchen is such a prominent part of this site, and you'll likely have maybe like CZ or England himself with a hard recharge go and open the kitchen hatch, you've got perfect cover with those cluster charges. Let them start to rain down, and there is not a defender in hell that's going to be able to escape those pucks and deny that hatch.
It's interesting that it was also the Ace that got swapped out as opposed to the Thermite, which I kind of thought in today's day and age, you might not always want to take a Thermite when you have the options for somebody like Ace. However, when you're playing on a bottom floor bomb site, you can only get 1 hatch if you're playing Ace. You can't get 2, and having a Thermite at the very least guarantees that you can take 2 hatches down. But you don't have anything else aside from, well, actually, never mind. There's 2 hard breach charges.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to sprint over and also get Church Wall, or if you needed to open up something like Dirt or something on Blue, or God forbid, anywhere else, if it's a top floor roam and you're trying to worry about clearing somebody out of the second or the first floor, there are options on the table. It's just not the kind of play that we're used to seeing because the hard breach charge has only been in the game for around 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, some people undervalue the hard breach charges, I think, because, I mean, yet again, it kind of frees you up to take someone else instead of someone dedicated to opening those hatches, like, you know, like a Fuse, I guess, or a Capitao, stuff like that. So, again, you know, want to keep our eyes on England and how he tends to play that. He'll probably be going to kitchen and, you know, raining hell down onto Arsenal, maybe while CZ puts down that hard breach charge. Already a hard breach charge has been used by the Capitao, likely on, okay, it wasn't on the kitchen hatch, maybe on Moto or Blue, I would assume. C4 goes out, it will whiff, so Max not finding anything with that as the Valkyrie camera that was calling out for him goes down. And you know, we talked about the strategy that the attackers might employ, but they can't actually open that kitchen hatch until they take the cave claw off.
Here come the fuse charges now down through kitchen, looking for any of that utility clear, and it also forces everyone out of armory so that they can't use a nitro cell, and it perfectly protects the players who are currently in kitchen who are looking for these refrags. And right now, everyone on Aerial Arise has had to go back towards the boxes, towards dummies, a little bit more towards blue. They're waiting for a drop, but it is not coming as of yet. There's only one nitro cell left, and that's in the hands of Gunner, and he's not in armory, where there's still plenty of Wichita players still situated waiting for this drop. Here's Whitlock now, a little bit of a precarious spot. He is exposed if someone wants to peek him from the hatch, but he's already got his crosshair trained on it. There's one more hard breach left. That's in the hands of England. If he wants to push it more towards the church wall, he has the chance now because there's no one pressuring from Moto, no one down long. He doesn't know that yet. He's still waiting for the intel.
So far, this attack is kind of stalled out on blue. Of course, CZ's waiting to use his fireballs to take that player out of generator, which he will do in just a second. He's actually going to smoke off first, maybe facilitating a drop and isolating Dami from his team, though. Gunner gets the first kill on the Gasher. Down goes the Thermite. There's a refrag from everyone. It seems it's a 3 versus 2 as the scoreboard lights up. Blue, Aerial Arise, take control of the map. And it's Vladder in a 1v3 stuck in blue. Kool-Aid drops him. Aerial Arise through the mid-round chaos. We'll take round number 1.
The cool part about England playing Fuse in that round was the way in which it was used at the time it was used. And it's almost like it created a safety net for when Fuse goes in, uses all the charges, there's no one down below Armory specifically where he uses all 3 of them, and it means that both the Ash and the Sludge who are looking for those angles through the floor are completely protected because there's no one down below who can wing an impact or a nitro cell up and prevent those angles from being held. So it was a really cool utilization, but in the overall execution of the round, it didn't do anything aside from maybe a little bit of utility clear. Everyone on Aerial got out a dive at that moment, and there was no damage done to them from the cluster charges. So maybe we'll see this played again in the event that Aerial Arise can be successfully scouted as going back to basement. However, I don't know if the way Fuse was utilized in that round is enough to justify bringing him back again.
Yeah, that was not the take. Aerial Rise had brilliantly set up crossfires. That hatch drop was completely snuffed. Not enough pressure in blue either. Great refrags across the board from Aerial Rise, really playing around each other. Max with 2, Kool-Aid with that last one. No Gunner in wait. Why do Aerial Rise only have 4 kills?
10 seconds left.
Yeah, what?
Did someone TK? I think someone TK'd.
In the middle of that fight, everyone is dead. Yeah, so in the middle of that crazy drop, the smokes come through from blue. There's additional pressure coming all the way back down main. It's mostly a blue push, but in the midst of all that, there was a TK and we totally missed it. Oh no.
I think someone team killed. Wow, that's unfortunate. But sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Things you don't know until you start counting.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, 2 for Max, 1 for Gunner. Kool-Aid got the last one. Wait, Whitlock and Dami don't have a kill. That's weird. I mean, the fuse, it was interesting. The fuse is definitely interesting. It's just, I think that the rest of the attack wasn't really set up properly to take advantage of it. I think what was funny too is you saw there was a cam like in the corner of Arsenal where the fuse charges were going off and the fuse charge didn't get it, so that was kind of free intel the entire time for Aerial Rise as well. I don't know. They're going to cash now. Vladder is now on Twitch. That's different. And now we see the Thatcher instead of the fuse. Dami on a extended roam going downstairs. And Wichita Oblivion, I believe, have already opened up the server wall. And Gunner is just going to sprint into Vladder for the first kill.
He was trying to use his electric claws to trick, I believe, both of the garage panels, and then when he makes his way back in, no one has any idea where Vladder is sitting, and that will mean Kaid meets his demise. But now Vladder on the long peak, Dami all the way from the bar, takes Vladder's head clean off his shoulders, a wonderful shot, and it equalizes the man count. With 1 minute and 30 left to go, CZ down to only 25 HP, but the wall itself on Garage Panel has been opened, which means Max can sit back and wait for all this utility to get burned out, but he's so little HP off the board, he does manage to scamper away. CZ forces his way inside Garage. He's looking for this kill. Both of them on really low HP. Acid will find Max across the map, and Dami down below is hoping that someone from Wichita comes into his sights, but right now, there's still a player left up.
Azure has been downed thanks to that peek from Oil Pit. He will be recovered by, I believe, CZ, but both of them are on 1 HP, and if they have to contest with the Alda, that might just not go their way. There's also, I believe, still Evil Eyes up, unless England has cleared them with the EMPs. Acid hasn't cleared anything, of course, because he still has his nades. Dami is still downstairs inside of Secret. He could flank up Garage and kill those players' rafters at any time. Shoot a drone. The attacker is maybe now aware of that presence, but here comes this utility from CZ. Whitlock there with a headshot onto England, and that's one of the full HP members of this attack. There's the kill for Kool-Aid with the C4. Low HP CZ goes down. It's Acid and Gasher on 1 HP has to cover. Here comes the swing though. Whitlock gets found. Back to even man count. That is an interesting drone on the top of the table. But Acid's just going to go for the plant. Kool-Aid's right there. He kills Gasher. Easy kill. Can't flick around to find Acid. It's a triple kill. Dami, he's just going to book it. He knows he doesn't have to play for the kill. He can play for time. Acid's going to try and go for the plant again. 3 seconds left. Dami going to run through the barbed wire. Thinks he baits Acid off, but no. It's a successful plant, and Dami has no intel. Acid's going to be able to rotate outside of the breach. He'll go on the rappel. And this is going to be a difficult shot for Dami to hit. Acid is playing very passive. He knows that he needs to burn away the time. And Dami, quick peeking around, he spots the head but misses the shot. Acid, he's the little hook, I think he can see. And Dami's just going to try and go for it through the wall. He's going to shoot a hole. Is it big enough for him to get the counter defuse? It's not. Oh no, it is! He's going to be able to stick it, but there's a nade! Acid with a perfect throw! Baits Dami into the diffuser. Perfectly played by the Sledge. And Wichita Oblivion tie us up 1-1.
It was almost a 3,000 IQ play from the Jaeger. Blow out the wall so you can go for the counter defuse while you sit behind green box, but no, the nade is perfectly timed. IQ for IQ, a Sledge for a Jaeger. We sit at 1-1. It was that close of an effort. The rafters push is completely flushed out by Wichita Oblivion. The Wamai has been cleared. The Kaid dies early, which means there's no more Garage presence, and that entire side of the map can be claimed. And as soon as it's an even man count, all the Sledge has to do is rotate back outside, hope that the Jaeger doesn't get super aggressive, and just wait and bait for the kill. Excellently played, wonderfully timed. And ARIAL Arise, they're not satisfied with how that CCTV round went. They're going right back to it.
Yeah, I think they know that they can take it if they try again.
I think so too, yeah.
That was a little bit too aggressive from ARIAL Arise. Kool-Aid, after he got the kill onto the cover, didn't need to swing Acid. I think he thought Acid was going to stick the plant, so he felt the need to get aggressive, but he didn't, and he lost the fight. Dami as well kind of slinked back down red stairs a little bit too far and thought that the barbed wire sound cue was enough to get Acid off, but I think Wichita Oblivion must have had some kind of drone or some kind of intel to tell Acid, like, hey, no, just keep planting, he's not pushing you. And that was really well played from the Sledge. Not clearing anything with his nades and actually keeping them in his back pocket I thought it was a questionable decision, but it ended up winning the round for him. So, I mean, kudos to Acid for that. Brilliant
Yeah,
play.
and I don't really even want to fault Dami for not being able to clutch that out. He knew precisely where the Sledge was positioned. You're right, the hook could be seen. And he also knew he was on rappel because Acid took a really, really long time to actually initiate the rappel animation, and by that point, Dami had already heard the sound cue. So he had the timing and everything in his power. He just wanted Acid to peek up a little bit, and Acid never did. It was so close in the end. And ARIAL Arise, they're kicking themselves only slightly because they're heading right back to CC, and it seems like it's mostly the same operator selection and the same setup. So they're just trying to get revenge from the last round, and they absolutely can do it.
Oh! Dami is just going to peek right towards the front door. CZ gets his head ripped off. First kill very early for ARIAL Arise this time. And that's the Capitao dead. That is a utility-heavy operator that the attackers now no longer have access to. No more firebolts and no more smoke bolts. And most importantly, Capitao is usually used to clear rafters, which Wichita Oblivion took full advantage of. Now Max is going to have a much easier time just sitting there and chilling.
Lights out.
Here comes some of the EMPs. Dami's roam is still going to be a massive point of contention. Here comes a nitro cell, but it gets shot out of mid-air. Cannot clear anyone at the opposite side of garage panel, and Gasher will escape with his life. Another method of denial from the Kaid, but it doesn't do anything. It still means that Thatcher needs to be maneuvered into position to help this garage panel's Electroclaws be destroyed, or at the very least, maybe Vladder himself can move in and take it. But he's waiting for someone at the top of red stairs, but the smoke is not about to push this. Or sorry, the mute of Kool-Aid is not about to make the push onto red stairs either. Dami's roam still has not been stopped yet, but it's not something that Wichita are really focused that much on when they can just take all of garage control, as there's only one player in Rafters left to deal with. Vladder does take out Kool-Aid, so there's your top red, so they can start to storm up the staircase if they want. And now Gunner's been down, not in a great position to get picked up, but Dami will still try to make it happen regardless. A 4 versus 4, 40 seconds remaining, and the only person you've lost is your Capital. Wichita just don't have time.
Yeah, and plus Vladder and Gunner both very, very lit up. Vladder's exactly pretty much 1 HP. England is the one carrying Diffuser, but Max can't hit the headshot before the nade kills him. And there's another one from Gasher pushing up Rafter stairs as Gunner gets a little bit too aggressive. Now it's just Whitlock and Dami, the Maestro and the Jaeger, the two best guns on this defensive lineup, to clutch out a 2 versus 4. Pre-fire's going in through the garage, but they won't hit anything. 10 seconds left. Where's the plant from Wichita Oblivion? It's gonna be England, but no, he's flushed off by the impact. And Whitlock gets another one. It's the Electroclaw to finish off the down player. Dami gets one on Gasher. It's just Vladder on 1 HP. And Whitlock clutches the round. He and Dami with a 2v4 to retain Arial Arise's lead.
Was that an Electroclaw kill?
Yes, because when you open the wall, when the Electroclaw activates, it re-electrifies that empty space. And England got down and was just touching like the little bit of the wall that was still electrified and the empty space. I mean, granted, he was already downed, but Gunner got credited with the kill. I mean, they played that perfectly. There were no smokes to cover. They all had to rush in the breach against the Alda. Not the good play. Dami had his teammates cross-covered, and Vladder was nowhere to help. And of course, he was only 1 HP. Beautiful 2v4.
Something I also did want to comment on, the only thing that we've really seen in terms of competitive play since Neon Dawn's release, the best example of it, I think, probably has to be CCS play. And something that I've noticed from 2 weeks ago, last week, and this grand final thus far, there is definitely a lot more opportunities for attackers to have flexibility in their operator selections and with how much time they actually want to push with. We haven't seen rounds like the one that we just saw for a pretty long time, almost like it's old hat. An actual execute within the final 20 seconds has not been the norm under this meta. It's been executes within maybe like a minute to 30 seconds. A lot of that was how we saw Consulate play out, with plenty of rounds coming down to 5v2 man counts, and Wichita and Arial on both sides getting aggressive, going for picks, and turning it into a situation where there's still so much time left to play with, and it's not as though the attacking team has so much utility to clear out anymore. It's a really, really cool thing to see. Even if the operator selection does seem as though it's remaining the same for Wichita, it's not the most tedious thing in the world to remove this utility from the board before you go for your execute, and it's really a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of the new meta so far.
Yeah,
especially kind of like quote unquote boring maps like Clubhouse and Oregon have kind of been a little bit revitalized. Even Theme Park's a little bit more fun to watch now. It used to be like a really slow, almost like a chore. It's certainly been it's got a new breath of life.
It's been revitalized in a way,
yeah.
And that comes after it was already revitalized after the rework. It's like it's a new resuscitation of Theme Park.
Indeed, new meta's cool. Basically,
new
so
meta's
far.
great. Thank you, UB, for probably the best patch of the whole year.
It's more aggressive. Aggression is fun to cast.
I mean, I don't want to say that we're playing this game like another FPS game that should not be played, or it should not be named, that has respawns, but I like the faster pace, but I will allow people in T1 to prove me right or wrong on whether that is how this will be played out. Max is trying to just wait for his moment and not shoot the nitro cell out, but the take is all from blue. 3 players above stock hatch right now. Down goes Gunner to just a well-timed peek from England. And anything that you might have situated on Aerial Rise's defense on the church side of things is not going to work out. Here comes Acid with another kill, but Gasher will be the first player on Wichita Oblivion to be removed as Kool-Aid moves in for the M590 kill. Max looks away at the wrong moment, but still takes down the Ash, or at the very least downs her. A 2 versus 4 is the 2 versus 3, assuming the Ash cannot be recovered inside Oil Pit. And now Whitlock and Kool-Aid, all that Aerial Rise has left. The quick peek from Kool-Aid comes through. Acid is completely ineffectual, but now Vladder can be picked up.
So it's going to be another 2v4 attempt, but that will quickly turn to a 1v3 as now it's just Kool-Aid. He'll throw a gas nade and that could catch both CZ and Vladder, but no, they've already escaped. The main point of contention here for Kool-Aid is gonna be England. Full HP, not as susceptible to these gas nades. Will open the dirt tunnel barricade. That'll alert Kool-Aid to his position. Here's the challenge with the shotgun and he wins! He'll get the kill. It's a triple kill for Kool-Aid. He can ace this if he just clicks, but no! He won't fire. CZ gets the headshot. And Wichita Oblivion tie us up yet again, 2-2.
Couldn't win church the first time, winning it the second time far more decisively. Any advantage that could have been obtained by Aerial Rise off the back of Max swinging around Generator and finding the axe in Oil Pit, or finding the Ash, excuse me, in Oil Pit, netted almost nothing. The Ash was recovered and ended up being the difference maker. Just a couple of small positional mistakes on Aerial Rise's part. And I don't know about you, but we sit at a 1-1 series and a 2-2 scoreline. I have a feeling we might need the full 5 rounds. This is a very close, very tense game.
Yeah, it's been blow for blow so far. Oregon, I think, may have just been an outlier with the way the rest of these maps have gone. Yeah, that last round too, if Kool-Aid was able to just get his smoke grenade a little bit farther into Oil Pit, that would have been a double kill on a CZ and Vladder. No doubt in my mind. Then he turns around, goes to Dirt Tunnel, shotguns down England, and there you go. That's the ace for him. But unfortunately, a little bit of a whiff on the smoke grenade. Didn't click when CZ peeked in. That was unfortunate. It could have been a nice clutch from him, but a couple things didn't go his way. So Aerial Rise, they'll try again. I think again confident that hey, we can fix our mistakes, like don't have Gunner walk under the open hatch, don't have Max also walk under the same open hatch.
10 seconds
That like 2 kills came from that, and a nade. A nade also came from that same hatch to kill Dom.
And even in spite of that, it was still a close round. So. It really demonstrates that Aerial Rise's defense probably was on par, save for just a couple very, very small mistakes because of how close things were in spite of those mistakes in the last round. So they've also had a tendency through this series especially to not go for a different site rotation. If they lose a site, they will go straight back to the one that they weren't able to win the previous round and see if they can't fix their mistakes. And thus far, the second time that they've attempted a site after losing it the first time, I think through this series, I'm doing my stats right now, it's a 100% win rate the second time they try it. So from a stats point of view, pretty darn good thing for Aerial Rise, but can they actually prove that they fixed their mistakes?
Indeed. And they're going to be going for the blue hatch already. Gasher setting up. They're trying to decide if they want Gasher or CZ open. It'll be Gasher. It's EMP for good measure to make sure it can't be electro-claw tricked by Max, and there we go. Blue pressure established from Wichita Oblivion, just as we've seen every single church attack. Now it's Gunner on a very discreet, far-afield roam. It's not what we saw from him last time. Last time he was playing site and he walked under the blue hatch and died. Obviously not going for that this time, maybe trying to find a flank by Oil Pit or by Secret, because so far, Blue has had a massive presence for Wichita Oblivion on all their attacks so far. Vladder is looking down long towards Dirt. And if Gunner can get into Rafters without being hurt, or into Garage without being hurt, this could be a huge flank.
Minute and a half left. The attack has not necessarily stalled because we have seen executes come within the final 30 seconds of both of these church defenses for Aerial Rise. And Gunner, man, who's been really, really quiet over the past couple of series. Can he find 2 kills right off the rip? He can only take down England, but he's not able to find the other one. He'll scamper away at the last minute. Finally now, Aerial Rise having a substantial man count advantage as Vladder is taken down by Whitlock. And son, it's all on Acid trying to work on Stockhatch by himself. Down goes CZ as the rotate fate now has fully come through. Gunner can sit all the way up the top of red if he wants to. Gasher looks away at the wrong second from long. Here comes the peak, but no, Max loses it. Gasher trying to pull things a little bit closer if possible, but the smoke nades will still force him out of position. It's all on Acid to try to find a way to regroup with Gasher, but right now the swings are just coming everywhere for ARIAL Arise. Kool-Aid, the difference maker as well. 7 and 3 himself through Clubhouse, but he'll get taken down with a very well-timed nade. Acid continuing to be the nade meister, but Whitlock with another kill all the way down the long hallway. And ARIAL Arise, 5 versus 3 man count. All they needed was something substantial, and they got it done.
And Gunner's roam was the thing that started things off. Excellent flank, couldn't capitalize on the second, but still, job done, takes out the Thatcher. Whitlock as well on a, I think we need to rewind real quick. Does everyone know where Vladder was? Vladder was Oil Pit. Whitlock was Box 2. He got a headshot with the Alda from all the way down there against a Zoth. Impressive shot, to say the least, there from Whitlock. Max with another kill. I mean, the only 2 kills that round was from 2 players getting over-aggressive in Moto. And that's it. That's all ARIAL Arise gave them. Otherwise, that entire round is very, very tight. They found the shots where they needed to, especially Whitlock going huge. He's had a bit of a slow couple maps since Consulate, but he's certainly starting to heat up. He's 5 and 2 right now. Kool-Aid as well, 7 and 4. Everyone else on ARIAL with 3 kills. It's a much more of a team effort on Clubhouse. Now we go back to Cash. So far, we've only seen, or we will only see, 2 sites this entire defending half.
It's turning into CCTV and Church, the map, the series, the video game, essentially. Looking for something in stats to figure out how this one should shake out. Both times they've been back to CCTV. It's a 1-for-1 trade thus far, and whether ARIAL Arise or Wichita win it this time will determine if it's a 3-3 half or a 4-2-1. ARIAL Arise would certainly like to head to the attacking half themselves with a round count advantage, because Wichita Oblivion did select this map in the first place, and this was probably the only map in the pregame that we thought was going to be a Wichita win straight out of the gate. We didn't know how Oregon was going to play out, but we thought ARIAL Arise would have that one. We definitely thought that they were going to win both Consulate and Villa. However, this one was one we definitely figured was going to be a Wichita Oblivion map when we started the broadcast.
I wonder if that's gonna be the curse. We thought ARIAL was going to win Consulate. Wichita Oblivion won. We thought Wichita Oblivion was going to win Clubhouse. Right now, ARIAL Arise are in the lead. We didn't know what to expect on Oregon. That was an ARIAL win. You know, we don't know what to expect on Cafe either. Although, I think I would kind of lean it in Wichita Oblivion's favor, just based off of history.
Yeah, maybe.
It's going to be Cash again. So far, ARIAL Arise are 1-for-1 on this defense. They lost their initial try, won it on the second, because Dami and Wellak were able to 2v4. Unfortunately, those clutches, though, you cannot reasonably rely upon. Wichita Oblivion, this is their turn to adapt. This is their turn to do what they did last time, gain that same advantage, but not let it slip away.
Dami's roaming on Jaeger has been the story of this entire defense so far. It's not something that Gunner is doing. He'll stick onto the bomb site and try to ban a trick if he sees fit. It'll come down to if someone wants to work their way under the bomb site, and that'll be where Dami attempts to stop them. Gunner might actually not be tricking. He'll still try to help out Max, who's been the only person to defend on Rafters so far through this entire game. But there goes that roam. Vladder takes down the stock player, the bar player, and Caesar will just move right in, knock Gunner out of commission, and it'll turn into just Max yet again, left alone on Rafters, and another peek. There goes Gasher going in, a 2 versus 4 now. Both the roam and the garage presence are gone, completely gone, with no recourse, and Whitlock and Kool-Aid are not in position for trades.
It's another 2v4. How many times have we seen ARIAL Arise in a 2v4, not just in this game, but over the course of CCS, though this time, instead of Whitlock and Dami, it's Whitlock and Kool-Aid, the 2 top fraggers for ARIAL Arise. It's Maestro and Mute as well. Both got good kits. They both got plant denial. Kool-Aid's downstairs, but his teammate on site is gonna die. CZ, though, with a TK on Acid, but Kool-Aid gets shot in the back, and he opts for the re-engage up red. Not a wise decision. England will get the final kill. Kool-Aid could have played for the C4 from below with the intel, but fortunately got caught out by England, and it's a 3-3 half. Wichita Oblivion tie us up.
This is what I was talking about on Consulate. It was a 5-4, not the biggest deal. Wichita getting 1 kill, and when you have the opening frag, so far it has basically been a precursor to you winning the whole round. The amount of opening kills that you have on your team does line up with the amount of rounds won on a map so far through this series. However, the thing you can't allow Wichita Oblivion to do is let things turn into a landslide. Every time we have a situation where it's a 5v4 that goes to a 5 versus 3, just that separation in the man count is there's only a couple of seconds that you have if you're Aerial Arise to find a trade and not have things slide even further, because when it's a 5v2, that is it. There's no opportunity after that point to find your footing again, and Wichita are taking full advantage of there being only 2 players left to find. Aerial Arise can still try to clutch up or get a couple of kills on their way down as they get taken out swinging, but Wichita will always win if it is a 5v3 skid. And sometimes when Aerial Arise don't have a way to correct course, it really shows and makes them look like they're on the back
10
foot.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
Here's to see how this attacking split goes for Aerial. They are opting for a different lineup. They'll bring both the Ace and the Thermite. They'll bring the Ash, and they'll drop the Capital. So none of those fireballs. But Wichita Oblivion are setting up for an SSG-esque roam. They've got the Mute and the Mozzie upstairs. They've got Pulse in the middle, though, instead of a Vigil. And they've got Maestro and Wamai, rather than a Legion and a Castle. So it's kind of like, it's like half and half. Like half of a regular Anchor play, half of a SSG-style roam. I think the Moto Hatch was still left soft, so they've got that rotate opportunity, but they don't have the walls upstairs reinforced, so you'll able to just open it. He's going to C4 open the wall and destroy a jammer. Interesting choice from Vladder. Just kind of keep running around the top floor with his teammate of CZ. All the attackers so far looking like they want to pressure out this roam. Everyone over towards Jacuzzi now being ignored by this defense, but CZ's going to go down to Whitlock and Garage Rafters. They don't know about the second man, though, and Vladder will get the immediate trade so far. It's a 1-for-1. Make it a 2-for-1 on the roam as Aerial Arise are able to successfully flush out those top floor players.
See if they can try to demonstrate some sort of attacking superiority, as a 3-3 half isn't the worst thing in the world, but because of Clubhouse and the way that this new meta is situated, you're right, it's a little bit less strategic and a little bit more who can kill who first. England on the pulse. He has the intel, at least from Strip Club, and he'll continue to force his way back out, but his position has been identified, and he is away from the site. Right now, Gasher pushing up really far at the top of Central Stairs might make things a little more interesting, as the only player on site properly is Acid, but he's playing Wamai with no opportunity to deny if someone moves into Kitchen, even with 2 impacts still in hand. Pressure now coming as Wet Meat tries to scamper away. He'll go into the bathroom stall, but he'll finally get flushed out by Kool-Aid, who pushes him from Strip Club side. But Gasher, his position at the top of the stairs is no, but he'll scamper away, even with a hole through the floor, and he will escape with his life. Can still use those cams. Gunner will be picked up inside bathroom. Nothing that Wichita Oblivion can do about that one. And now the standard attack plan can resume for Aerial Arise. The only problem is that's 2 minutes wasted.
I get it. He said they flushed England out, and he was in the bathroom. That was a good one.
Thank you for getting the joke. That means a lot to me.
You're welcome. Gunner was also down in that scuffle. He's been rezzed. Interesting that Gunner's playing Ash. Usually, of course, it's Dami on Ash, and like maybe Kool-Aid on the Thermite. Max playing Ace is definitely very normal. But a lot of times, Gunner will opt for the Sledge or even the Buck because he doesn't like the risk of being C4'd while he's going to work on the kitchen floor. But anyway, Max will get the kill on Acid as the push comes down. He's going to be getting this plant as well, as Gasher has really nothing to say about it. We'll peek over towards main stairs, try and transfer into the Kool-Aid wall, but Gunner finishes him off. Aerial Arise take a very successful defense, only losing 1 man in the process.
So I see the modification to the SSG roam, and I like the play from Wichita Oblivion being to, I see your SSG roam and I will raise you a pulse. His position was a pretty darn good one. He notices that there are 2 players who repel up from the strip side, so he at least knows that there's 2 players who spawn on that side of the map, so that he can help relay info back to his teammates about where the roam on the top floor needs to be focused. He needs to go towards that side of the map. You don't need to focus nearly as hard on things like CCTV, which is still where the Zofia was pushing from, by the way. But that position from England did a very good job of just wasting time. It took until there was literally only a minute left for the Pulse to be
Defenders, protect your
exterminated.
bombs from being
It
defused
doesn't
by
win the
attackers.
round, but if you're able to buckle down a little bit more on when the other players upstairs make their rotates back down towards site, maybe they don't lose their lives as quickly, and perhaps that round could have been different if they made their rotates a little faster than they did. It was a good way, a good ploy to do nothing but waste time, and I think that strategy's got potential, but ARIAL Arise just proved that their aggressive nature was enough to overcome it.
Yeah, that was an odd roam, to say the least. Because, like, sure, you have all the info denial
10
upstairs,
seconds remaining.
but you're leaving all the walls soft. You don't have castle barricades. You're kind of left kind of exposed.
seconds remaining.
I mean, sure, you have info from the Pulse, but, you know, fat lot of good that. Still a 2-for-1 trade. And
Attackers must
quickly became
locate
3-for-1
and defuse the
trade.
bomb.
As
The
after they
attackers
lost
bomb
Whitlock,
diffuser
no
has
one on
been
ARIAL
neutralized.
Arise died. There's another
Attackers
2v4.
bomb diffuser.
Though this time, ARIAL Arise were on the better side of it. Now it's Gym Bedroom instead of Cash for Wichita Oblivion. Definitely an interesting choice. They've got plenty of intel, though. They got Maestro, Pulse, and Valkyrie. Definitely playing into this intel game. Pre-firing through the wall. England has the info, but he can't find the kill on Adami. It'll just be damage, but hey, it's free damage. That's cool. Vladar on Vigil as well would be looking for that extended roam, probably a late flank. He's actually over inside of Cash, so not only is he going to be a little bit hard to pin down from the drones inside of Cash, he's also got the ability to impact trick those walls and make it an even more fortress-like hole.
England downstairs maybe can use the Nitro Cell to deter someone
Okay.
out, but there goes the Pulse. Never mind. I think he had his scanner out and didn't estimate the action was
Yeah,
going to
no
be coming
clue.
for him. He had his vlog camera out going, "Hey guys, I'm in a German clubhouse right at dead." Not I actually don't remember who told me that the Pulse scanner looked like it was a vlogging camera, but I can't unsee it every time now because it definitely just looks like he's pointing it back at himself. Regardless, the HP traded off for Dami is going to be just fine, as all he has to do is wait for everyone else on his team to move in before he chucks the EMPs, and the rest of Jacuzzi is about to come down. CZ playing aggressive on top of the bed. He's got coverage from both Gasher and Acid. The only one who's a little bit off site right now is Vladar, still trying to play the CCTV angle and wait for his moment before he makes his push back to site. So everyone on the roam right now, if there was someone, has come back except for the Vigil, and with a full complement of utilities still on the board, ARIAL Arise have way more time to make this execute. From the window, down goes CZ, and Whitlock turns it into a 5 versus 3 man count. Everyone on Wichita now is, with the exception of Vladar, still hanging on to his shield. He's not going back towards the bomb site. He's going to wait and hope that someone comes through the wall, or at the very least gets aggressive for him to go for a kill before he rotates back, but instead he leaves Gasher all on his own to die, and now has to find 5 kills.
He gets 1, he gets 2. Brilliant flick around by Vladar, but Kool-Aid's getting the plant down, and unfortunately for Vladar, he can't really do anything about it. He'll turn his back to the construction window where Whitlock is watching and waiting. It's a 3K for the Zofia. ARIAL Arise with another competent attack. That time, just ignoring Cash. Opened the wall, prevented the rotate to server window, focused everything on Jacuzzi wall and Master, and Vladar couldn't do anything.
I understand, if the round count is really whittling down, go back to site, but Vladar decides he wants that shield position to be worthwhile. He wants to go for 1 kill, and in the very end, he does. He was fighting with that ace through the breach wall for a really long time, and finally, he ends up winning that engagement. So he spends a lot of time on that side of the map, still finds the frag after the two of them kind of played like peak tug of war for a while. No, he got his picks, but
therefore, the round is not on him.
no, it's not, but everyone was already dead by the time he even thought about going back to gym. So
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
better
bombs
luck
as they
next
can.
time.
Yeah, I'm
guess.
not sure why he was like, I need to hold this. I can't leave. Everyone on site is dying, but god damn it, do I have Red Hall on lock.
I can't tell. I can't call that round of ladder loss, and I won't. But
No, it wasn't all on Vladar. It was also on the site players for just kind of dying to the windows.
but if the site players are dying, still go back to site.
Yeah,
Still
because
at
he
least
had
try.
the red rotate. Like, he didn't have
did,
to
yeah.
move past the guy on the wall. I don't know, that was a little odd. But
He
now
didn't,
we finally
he didn't have
get
to
to
rotate.
Cash.
He went all the way through cache, didn't he? He could have just gone right back through the rotate
5 seconds
into
remaining.
cache rather than going to server. So he went into
Yeah.
server from the shield. Yeah.
Yep. That was a little bit weird. But now we see Cash from Wichita Oblivion. A bandit. First time we've seen Bandit this entire
Attackers
matchup
drop the diffuser.
be
Attackers
Gasher.
recover the
He's got
diffuser.
C4, he's got wall denial. Curiously, that they're not bringing Cade. Of course, you can't deny a Bandit trick with a Thatcher. You're gonna have to try and find some sort of workaround, whether it be server window, utility clear and nade, or go below and flush him off. Either way, taking Gasher off this wall is going to be imperative if they want server open.
Here comes the wall bang attempt at the very least for CZ, looking for something on Jacuzzi, and he has a little bit of support downstairs from England, but that's if someone goes through Logi. I think he is waiting for someone to push from that angle so that he can use the Nitro Cell from below, and he does have a camera up, so that's definitely not the worst strategy in the world. Double shields inside cons now will be the primary thing that Arial or Rise have to move through if they want this construction angle to be
Attackers have
secure, and
located
it's
a bomb.
Acid by himself at the top of Raptors this time, and not a Wamai in that position, try to hold off someone coming through Garage. It's a pretty spread out defense from Wichita, and here comes the Nitro Cell attempt. The pings come through, but it comes a little bit too late. Max drops the hatch already, but he still does get down. It's just not from the Nitro Cell, but in turn, he will also be exterminated as the Goyo shield goes off and takes him down in flames. Wet Meat now can rotate back up the stairs and try to help his team out a little bit. His job with the C4 from below is done. The ace has been dispatched of. However, with so little time remaining, Steezy will need to go for these kills kind of by himself until someone can get into position to help him out.
Especially with the construction wall now open, Gasher's bandits don't really mean much anymore. He's just now a good gun at that, but just trying to chill on red stairs. Of course, he's still got a C4 in pocket, but now another one of those site players has gone down. Kool-Aid with a great shot on a CZ. Gasher on his retreat takes a lot of damage. England is going to try and run out, but no, he can't hit Dami's head. It'll just be damage on the Thatcher. He'll persist outside the window. Re-engagement from Gasher up the red stairs, but it's Kool-Aid's third. Now he'll try and hit the plant. Here comes the peek from the Ash. Gunner loses the fight to Acid, and England is now up to help, and he'll win the fight against Kool-Aid. Where's the cover from his team? Luckily, there's a refrag from Dami, and as England hits the reload, Whitlock comes in from the breach. Arial or Rise take round number 9. They circumnavigate the bandit, they shut down the roam, and they take the site, and they will retain their lead.
Retain their lead and put us on map point. Arial or Rise thus far a flawless attack on Coastline. Sorry, Coastline. I can't believe I just
Listen, it starts with a C. Coastline, Clubhouse. They're similar words. They both got an
I
E
should have just said consulate at
and
that
a
point,
C.
but I said consulate so much on the last map because that was the
And
map
an
we
L.
played that I couldn't have said. No, sorry. A flawless attack on Clubhouse thus far on a map that, yet again, Wichita Oblivion have selected for reasons I don't totally understand. It's a map that they have banned 100% of the time in CCS and have never played, in the same way that when we went to Oregon, it was the exact same case. I hoped that it being a 3-3 half, meaning, the 3 wins on a Clubhouse attack, pretty darn good, especially with the way the meta tends to shift, at least right now. But not being able to do anything substantial on a Clubhouse defense is criminal. We know historically that's the way this map swings. That's how I kind of attributed Arial or Rise's 3 defensive wins to being them on defense. It's just a matter of what site they're playing on. Wichita don't have an answer for what Arial is doing. As creative as it seems like their defenses might be, they are always falling short every single time. We're going back to church. Arial or Rise have already defended this or already attacked this successfully. Wichita need a moment to breathe, and they can do that by fixing their issues last time they were on the site.
Something else to mention is Kool-Aid has been absolutely popping off this map. He's 12-6.
He's recovered in a big way.
Smoke Thermite. Well, all right.
No! We can't Caster's Curse him that bad! Harrison! I can't believe you've done this!
Jameson, I'm sorry. You know I love you. But, that's been a rappel that England has now challenged like 3 times.
And he finally
And this
won.
time, yeah, instead of shooting through the wall, he's like, screw it, I'm just gonna blow it up. And he got a kill. So, Kool-Aid, the standout performer and your hard breacher, is now dead, though Whitlock will yet again start things off for his team, taking out CZ, one of those upstairs roamers. There's also a run out from Vladder, which is wholly unsuccessful. It'll go down, likely irrecoverable. There he is, Dami with the finisher. Now England is trying to retake the top floor. The Pulse has rotated to Master, but this clear is still continuing on from the attackers. There's, again, I mean, it's a 2-for-1 trade on the roam. It's just like last time, and now England is going to try and make his last stand into stall. And we know how this went last time as well. He just got murked by like 3 different people. If he stays here and gets collapsed upon again, and it's another 2v4 leading to the site execute, I think Wichita Oblivion need to reevaluate how they roam.
He definitely needs to move back to site sooner rather than later if he wants to have an impact there. And now 3 players all dropping down Moto Hatch, and no one else on Wichita's side is even aware that that's what's going on. 2 kills now on both sides of the board. A 3 versus 2 turns into a 3 versus 1, and now it's all on Gasher, the only member left on the bomb site. ARIAL arrives with a triple drop through Moto Hatch, secure themselves clubhouse before we even know what's going on. Oh my god!
We were like, dude, we were looking at England and Bathroom and like, all right, they know where he is. You know, they're going to try pressuring him. Oh, look, there's a guy on main stairs. He can try and help England. And then 3 blue silhouettes just drop down Moto and just another map that ARIAL Arise are undefeated on. The worry here for me is that ARIAL Arise have said themselves they are a stronger Villa team than they are on Consulate. And it was still 7-4. It was not dominant from Wichita Oblivion. Not dominant, not nearly as dominant as the other 2 maps, which funny enough was 7-2, 7-3, the maps that ARIAL Arise have won, which were the scores of the 2 maps that ARIAL Arise won last time they faced Wichita Oblivion. So that's a little bit of a coincidence. So we've got a 7-2, a 7-3, and Wichita Oblivion's win was a 7-4.
What is it with CCS and Deja? No, I'll save that for later.
Villa should prove interesting. I think I'm still kind of leaning towards ARIAL Arise here. But if Wichita Oblivion really did their research on Consulate, I imagine they really did their research on Villa. Even if they don't win, it should be a much closer contest.
Well, we would like to welcome Habana formally to the CCS NA Grand Final. First time she isn't banned is when a Nomad and an Ace are instead. Valkyrie, second time she has seen a ban. First time that Ace has, second time that Nomad has, and this last defensive ban, let's see if it follows suit.
I mean, we both have both Hibana and Thatcher are up.
On a Villa attack, that's about to be deadly.
And it's Mute.
Mute?
So far, Wichita Oblivion have been the ones with the interesting bans. Honestly, though, if I'm ARIAL Arise, leave me alone. Yeah, that is a Kool-Aid main on Villa.
Yet another time he's
like
been target
banning him. Yeah, Nomad and Mute. So unfortunate.
He just there's still a smoke left, but he can still play that. But I guess
this is the first time a 4th map has been played this season in any region. Well, yeah, this is the first best of 5.
Well, actually,
technically,
not
Europe
quite.
had one, but that was
Europe had one that was all the way.
That is true.
To a 3rd map and played successfully. North America had one that only went to 2 before it was a forfeit. So yeah, this is the first time. Okay. This is the longest match in season 5. And how do you think your poor casters feel? Actually, I feel really good. I
feel really good too. This game has been like, if this game sucked, then I would want to die. But this game has been really good. It's 2 teams that I love. So, I'm not complaining if this goes to a map 5. But
it's 2 teams I'm growing to love as well.
Yeah.
I'm liking this.
These alligators in the swamp are crazy. All right, I don't know what it is.
All right.
Something that I'm definitely really curious about is on Villa, on Clubhouse, on Consulate, Wichita Oblivion's pulse play has been excellent. They're leaving it up for them again. It's going to be Gasher playing them. I really hope ARIAL Arise are prepared to deal with it, because so far it's really been their kryptonite. Okay, Max, I'm not going to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
Kool-Aid
I'm distracted by chat.
Kool-Aid off the Nomad. Now this is where he plays the Gridlock. Sometimes he'll play the Gridlock on Consulate, but I guess it's mainly on Villa when Nomad is banned. The rest of the attackers make sense. Gunner is finally back on his signature sledge. Of course, Max, you've now got on the Hibana. Thatcher remaining unplayed, as a matter of fact. But Wichita Oblivion, they have the pulse. They have what? Was that what they were doing for 30 seconds?
They were downstairs for so long, it was because it was a drone in a flower pot?
Something like that. But what I was gonna say is that, hey, now that they have the pulse, Wichita Oblivion, maybe they're gonna play downstairs, you know, because there's a lot of people downstairs for that C4, but they've only actually got one.
Give it a minute, at least for right now, to see what the strategy is from Aerial Arise. Gasher below has a chance to knock the Ash out, but she's just going to keep on moving. She'll be serpentining without even realizing it's serpentining. So unfortunately, nothing that the Pulse can do down below aside from acquire intel and relay it back. Dami's already gone through to Trophy. He's out of Astro, and now the 90 push is coming in. This is already a really, really fast, aggressive push from Aerial Arise. Do they want to take this opportunity to move back up? It's England. You lose your smoke right off the gate. That's going to be a really bad op to lose, but he'll take a little bit of damage. No, he won't. None of the shots connect, and he'll still find a chance to rotate back. Very risky to have your smoke placed so far up into 90, and he's lucky he didn't get his head taken off.
Geez, if that drone just went a little bit more around the corner, that could have been an easy kill for Dami, but both operators will remain unscathed. These two defenders downstairs still persist, though. It's a Jaeger and a Pulse. Now, the Pulse has C4. Duh. The Jaeger is kind of there just for cover. He's not really going to be doing much vertical play. He's just there in case the Pulse gets pressured. But as the C4 goes out, Gasher no longer becomes a pivotal operator. Sure, he's still good for intel, but now that C4 is utilized, Kool-Aid barely taking any damage from it, Gasher's just going to remain below and call out for his team to make, you know, adjustments on the fly from their anchor game. Shots through the floor actually light Dami up quite a bit. Dami tries to fire back, but he's unsuccessful. Here's another push from England. There we go. The 90 pressure, aggressive from the smoke, works out this time. He finds a frag. That's going to be it so far. Kool-Aid, he does get downed, likely to be recoverable. But the rest of the attackers look like they're just mainly going to be focused on Study, but Vladder inside of the site. He'll go down. There's Gunner with the pickup on the Kool-Aid. Diffuser back in the pocket of the sledge. We're even out to 4-4 with 30 seconds left.
Come down to whether Kool-Aid can still have an impact as the Study push now becomes the primary method into the bomb site. 2 from Study, 2 from the opposite side of Aviator. CZ has a chance to move in and take this out, but the gridlock track stingers will make things a little bit harder. It does get stopped in its tracks. Haha, good tracks joke. But the smoke will also, it'll miss Gunner straight up. 2 kills across the board. A 3 versus 3 plant is successful. Now it falls on just Gasher down below. His acid is taken down, and Gunner with so many kills from down below. I don't know how that round went Aerial Rise's way at all. The smoke just whiffed.
It was 2 things. 1. Well, we'll make it 3 things. Really good site entry with the smoke grenades and the track stingers. 2, missed gas canister from England. 3, flawless plant coverage from the players in Study. Absolutely
Agreed.
On point. They killed, what, 2 people on the cover? Both of them trying to swing the planter of Gunner? And even then, Gunner gets off the plant, kills the flanker from 90, and they even gets Gasher through the floor. 3 kills for Gunner. It was actually, the plant cover was all Max. It was just Max. He got both of them. I thought Whitlock got one of the others, but nope. It was all Max, and Whitlock didn't even see anyone that round. He's 0-0-0, but a great recovery for Aerial Arise after they lost Dami and Kool-Aid was downed. I thought it was going to be dire straits. We were kind of burning into the last 30 seconds. England still had gas, but the gas that I was so worried about ended up being a non-factor and even stopped CZ from pushing up on the planter because he didn't want to breathe in his own teammates' gas. So great attack from Aerial Arise. They take the first round and they take the lead.
I'm going to do my best to not make a joke off of breathing in your teammates' gas. I appreciate the setup, but I'm not going to take advantage of it. I'm just going to
especially
call
with the situation Acid is in. We don't want to keep harping on it, you know. Don't want to rub salt in the wound.
Oh boy, gonna miss being able to make fun of these boys once this one's all over. Anyway, I think it's so far it's a testament to the way in which Aerial Arise like to play Villa, with the way in which that cover fire was perfect after the plant was executed, and how they managed to recover from losing that Ash early on. Especially with England as Smoke getting incredibly aggressive, they still managed to make things work, and they're already proving to be as strong a Villa team as we thought. The initial engagement turns into Gunner knocking out Vladder, who has position at the top of the staircase for a good 20 seconds and still loses the fight. The Sledge, 4 kills so far. Gunner having a really, really quiet past couple of maps, but 4 kills already, but instead, I hate the caster's curse. He's dead downstairs, and Gasher can resume his position in kitchen looking for a Nitro Cell kill from below.
Gunner just sprinted right into his arms, huh? Now Whitlock has now been downed. There's the gas grenade to try and secure the kill, but it will miss, so the Zofia will be either recovered or withstood. There we go. It looks like that looks like a withstand, so still at a 4-4, though she's extremely low HP. Luckily, Whitlock still has the utility, so he can still indirectly influence the round with either burn or stuns, or without necessarily having to take a gunfight. I believe the Hibana X Kairos have now just been shot out to try and open the vault wall. Something that Aerial Arise were able to sort of do. They had an angle in the vault. It wasn't like completely open for a push. Kool-Aid currently on the flank watch, waiting for someone to try and walk up red stairs as the site execute from Aerial Arise is beginning to mount. On the drones, they're trying to collect intel, find out where those anchor positions are. Of course, Gasher has a C4. CZ does as well. These are the 2 defenders playing downstairs. This is something that Wichita Oblivion lacked in the previous round and might really be a round changer and tie us up at 1-1. It might just be those 2 C4s from below.
They desperately want this play to work out where it didn't in the last round, because they went right back to Aviator when they could have tried Trophy instead. Here comes the intel, hoping that he doesn't move out of the way, but he does, and the Nitro Cell falls short of any damage onto the Aerial Arise attacker. Now it's all on CZ down below to try and do the same thing, but he doesn't have the pulse scanner with him. And it does look as though Gasher might have clearance to rotate back to site by himself, at least for the moment. It looks like it's Acid and England, the only 2 players on site, and now Acid already down to 50 HP as the Hibana takes him down. His position in vault been given away. All Acid has to do is move a little bit to his right, and his head's gone. Kool-Aid going for the plant in the same spot, but there's the Nitro Cell from CZ. You can still go for the plant behind vault, though, as the smoke canister does not go quite that far. Dami, so little HP left, but he will still try to stick this one. As Max and Dami with kills across the board. CZ now at a 1 versus 3. It's Max through his own hole, looking through vault and through Aviator. All the kills necessary, and that's another one on the board for Aerial Arise.
Again, it looked like really dire straits for Aerial. That execute was going all sorts of wrong. You had the C4 from below to knock out the default plant by risk, just like they tried, or just like where they tried to plant last time. Dami has to switch to a vault plant. He's running through gas. He's getting swung from below because there was a hole there. I thought that was done. I thought that was done and dusted. But no, Dami kills the guy through the floor. I think that was Gasher on the pulse. Kills him through the floor. Max, again, with a beautiful double kill covering the plant. And there's just no trades from the defense. They were all so focused on getting that planter that yet again, Max was able to take advantage of it, and he covered perfectly and got CZ at the very end of the 1v3. CZ was already extremely lit up. All Max needed to do was land 1 shot. He is 5-0 on hard breach. All those kills coming off of his own holes on the Hibana and covering the plant. That is exactly what you want from your support player, from your rock that Max has been for this team. And so far, I mean, you know, Aerial Arise has only been a team for... Wichita Oblivion has also been a relatively new team. They've both only been around for maybe like 3 or 4 months. But all these players have years upon years of experience. This is Max's first comp team ever, and I feel like that just cannot be understated enough.
It certainly is impressive, but it's even more impressive when you consider the amount of T1 experience on the side of Wichita Oblivion. The Rise Nation power duo of England and Acid been together for so long there's so many different team iterations through Challenge League as well. The fact that they've stuck together and they're trying to claw their way out of a bad scenario in this series might have to put their team on their back yet again like they did on Consulate, because right now what Wichita Oblivion is trying is not working in the interim. And by the way, it's also good that England's not playing Smoke anymore, because both times they played Aviator, his smoke grenades went to the exact same spot and missed the planter both times. So it's good that it's been swapped over, but we're not on Aviator anymore, so we'll see if the event we go back to that site, if the trend continues or not.
Oh, by the way as well, something before I forget. Everyone on Ariel is underage except Max. Max is 18. Pick him up. I want to see Max in CL. But Adami is just going to take a fight into the site. Goodbye, CZ. And Kool-Aid is there to get the kill on the Vladder. That is an extremely early entry. It's been like, what, a minute 10? And you've already got 2 kills on Vigil and Jaeger. I mean, sure, the utility doesn't really matter, but hey, it's 2 roamers. It's 2 of those top floor players. Now you have complete control, and you can do whatever you want with the ceiling, as Gunnar will now do on the sledge. Someone was watching that drone, so they'll be wary of those red stairs and not let England, walk up them for free. That was... Did Acid try to C4 that?
We saw this before. Oh, no. We saw that before. What was it? Was it a Challenge League game? Where it was a Canadian Challenge League game. No, he didn't C4 it. That was both of the Zofia nades went to the same spot, and it doesn't work out because that part of the floor can't be destroyed. It's like the impenetrable rug on Coastline. Here we go. 2 more kills. Kool-Aid finds the other one to bring it into a 4 versus 2, but Acid makes the rotate back downstairs. No Nitro in hand, but he'll get swung from Memorial as Max continues showing how good of a player, how underrated of a player he's been on his first competitive squad. Now England by himself rushes down from Aviator stairs. No dice. 3 rounds in a row for Arial Arise on attack. They are 4 rounds away from being crowned your CCS Season 5 champs.
I guess we know why Arial Arise consider themselves to be a stronger Villa team. They have been absolutely flawless on their attack so far. That round, again, coming down to brilliant plant cover. But before that was the roam clear. Upstairs, neither of those players really having any say. They just walked into the line of fire and died without shooting back. Brilliant play. Of course, the pulse comes back upstairs, but by then, the attackers have already rotated down. They know they can take a 4v2 on site. Sure, you lose Kool-Aid, sure, you lose Gunnar, but at that point, it's a 1v3 because Max got that site entry. He'll start planting. The last player, I believe it was, who was it? Was it England on the Pulse? Was the last defender, was forced to try and sprint down?
Yep.
And I thought Max was going to be pretty exposed to that position, but I didn't even see Dami. Dami was just chilling with the cover. So far, that's been the story.
Arial Arise. Not a team I think any of us thought was going to contend this hard at the outset of CCS. You did call it, but the general expectation was definitely on both Challenge League teams coming into CCS. Both Oblation and Ape already have a lot of history. They've been in T2. They're currently still in T2, and they both made one roster switch up, and we're like, oh, this will be the perfect training ground to figure out if their new acquisition is, a worthwhile pickup. And I think to some extent they both were, but they got knocked out early. Wichita Oblivion is here in place of Oblation because of the forfeit, in place of Ape because Oblation were the team that knocked them back out. And instead, we're crowning a champion that doesn't have any experience in Challenger League unless Wichita Oblivion finds some way to scrape rounds back, to scrape back Villa, and then go to Cafe and prove that they're able to perform on 5 maps in a row. Arial does not want this to go to Cafe, 1, because it's another map to play, but 2, you've been playing a competitive game like thus far for over 3.5 hours. There has to be a fatigue factor that comes through when we go to a map 5 if Wichita can force it that much.
Yeah, and I'd also like to reiterate that not only did I call Arial Arise being in the final, but I mean, yes, Oblation technically forfeited, but my bracket prediction was 100% all the way through. Because boy, do I know T3. Whitlock will get the first kill as he knows where Gasher is. Malusi dead. If that was a C4, And that's a C4 down as well. Brilliant opening pick. CZ now will slink down to the basement, looking for a flank, maybe up the pantry stairs as Vladder starts to pressure in. He spots Kool-Aid, and Kool-Aid just kind of gives himself up, and Dami is on a drone. He can't find the trade. 2 kills downstairs for Vladder, and now a man count in the favor of Wichita Oblivion. This Claymore finds the pick for Kool-Aid, though, absolutely outskilling CZ, and Gunner on the site finds another. There's Max with wet meat. It's just Vladder! What happened? We were so busy watching the roam, we weren't even paying attention to the site execute ourselves, and Aerial Arise have turned around on its head. Max will suffer his very first death to Vladder, though, as he tries to go for the plant in a very exposed position. It's doable for Vladder now. It's a 1v2. He's got C4, and he can throw it out. He'll waste it, though, not finding the pick. There's a pinch coming through. One Master, one Astro.
Flank.
A nade will take a little bit of damage off of him, but he looks the wrong way. He looks into Astro, but Gunner's already through the rotate. Aerial Arise take round number 4.
So, aside from all the deaths happening off camera that we couldn't see, I really thought that there was a chance Vladder could still pull that one back, but he doesn't force the issue and doesn't get aggressive when he needs to, and allows the flank to come from the other side, and he just kind of lets himself get pinched. Good try, but end of the day, no dice. None of the CCS champions have ever been in T2 or T1 at the time that they have won the league. That's true. We birth new champions. We create legends in CCS. It's never the expected team that goes on to win the whole thing. It is instead a crop of new talent, new blood. You might be looking at some of these guys at some point down the road having won CCS or placed this high up in this tournament. And all of a sudden, they're in T1. They're in the NAL. That very well could be the case with some of the play that we're seeing. This is just putting NAL teams on watch for the new crop of Siege players in North America that might be worthwhile to add to rosters. Only problem is Max is the only person on Aerial Arise who's actually over the age of 18, so everyone else has some growing up to do still.
Man, that's another Aerial Arise are another one of those teams where it's like Oblivion, Thunder Logic, Nobu. Like, imagine if these teams all turned 18 at the same time, man. Imagine how stacked these guys would be. Like, Aerial Arise. Imagine, I feel like Aerial Arise, especially after beating Ape and being at the top of CCS, I feel like they could be contenders for maybe even top 5 CL, maybe higher.
That's high,
especially with more experience. But unfortunately, they're underagers. So, you know, but maybe they'll stick together for long enough. I don't know. I know Kool-Aid's thinking of maybe retiring. Max is the only one that's 18. I also just realized we're now on round 4 and Whitlock is 1-1-0. He has seen exactly 2 people.
He killed one and wounded the other. That's a hole that he really... Nope, never mind.
Never mind. He's seen 3 people this game.
Blessing at the same time. There's Kool-Aid, the man who wants to retire. Probably shouldn't have been hitting shots like that. Down goes England, a 5 versus 3. Only 30 seconds traversed in the round. Vladder needs to make his way back to site, and he does. But CZ, the only one now outside of the bomb site, getting a little bit aggressive. He wants a pick if he can find it, but no. All 3 members of Wichita Oblivion's defense have forced their way back onto games, and they're watching Aviator from the opposite side. CZ, no, instead, will still try to force the issue back towards Study. Dami can push all the way down through Books, through 90 corridor, as free as he wants, and now can start executing onto the bomb site because there's no one watching it from that side. CZ, he's moved all the way into Study now? Because there's no one pushing for Aerial Arise from that side of the map, so he's got all this clearance. He does see one cross, doesn't pull the trigger. Acid finds the first frag for Wichita. There's the pick. CZ finds inside Study, and now he can rotate back.
This is now even man count, 3-3. Of course, though, you still have Max, still have Whitlock, and you still got Kool-Aid against CZ, Vladder, and Acid. Now we finally have the Study presence. They could have definitely used this earlier, but it's too late now. They got to cut their losses, and they've got to continue their push. Kool-Aid will come up red stairs. He's going to be the backside presence, while the rest go from the front. And yet again, we'll likely see this Aviator push from the doorway behind the risk table with cover from Max and Whitlock from Study. We've seen that pretty consistently so far, but no, it's CZ to come around by 90. He drops the primary planter, and now both these last attackers are on the same side of the map. They're going to have to try and make something happen with no diffuser control. However, all 3 of these last defenders are extremely lit up. They're just about 1 or 2 bullets from either of these weapons before they're put on the floor. Try to make their entry in, but Max will rotate around towards 90. He wants to try and get this diffuser. Peeking into Vault, he catches Acid and finishes him off. Down back to a 2v2. CZ is watching very long, though, through the connector wall. Max doesn't see him, but CZ can't finish the kill. But there we go on the re-peek. He's successful. It's just Whitlock in a 1v2, and he can't click on CZ. It's a 4K for the Frenchie. And Wichita Oblivion, they keep themselves alive. They take round number 5, their very first round on Villa.
CZ being a ridiculous roam flank MP5 Rook demon.
Rook is a roamer. I can't change my mind. Rook is a roamer.
Okay. Sure?
He has been a roamer since the inception of this game, and I will stand by that for the rest of my life. Rook is a roamer. You walk around, you're a goddamn tank. Sure, they can hear you, but if you can land the headshot before they can, then your body armor just sucks up all the shots and they can't do anything about it.
It's almost like when everyone was complaining about whether Jaeger being moved to a 2-speed was a bad call. And everyone's like, no, it makes him tougher. It absolutely was more of a buff than it was a nerf because he can take more of a shot. And that's even without the benefit of Rook armor. It's kind of the same case. And
I remember when I saw that announcement and everyone, like all the silvers and golds in the
everyone
in the
was
like
complaining, going, no.
All the silvers and golds were like, haha, Jaeger main tiers. He's not 3-speed anymore. But everyone was like, it's just it's a buff. He literally still feels like a 3-speed, only tougher. Like,
yeah, it doesn't really ever feel as though his speed has been nerfed. It doesn't.
Like,
it generically has always been I am speed, always with Jaeger, and that's still kind of the same thing. There really isn't anything to change him up, even though that change has been in the game for what, a good 9 months or something at this point. It was like right after Invite.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
What if they revert the Jaeger ADS rework and make him a 3 armor?
Oh, for the love of
hire
God.
me, UB. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. That's a terrible.
Please, no. I mean, hire him, but not for his operator balancing option.
True.
So,
please.
ARIAL Arise have their perfect attack streak stalled out because of CZ probably more often than anything. And one thing that we did want to bring up is that Wichita Oblivion didn't really have a whole bunch of star players throughout their series. CZ was the top-rated player, but nobody on Wichita Oblivion had scored a rating within the top 15 throughout the regular season up until this grand final. So if it's coming down on individual play, you'll need more plays like that. Goodbye Whitlock, but the trade is there as Dami avenges him, and Vladder only finds 1 kill downstairs. That individual play is a good thing, but it's not sustainable. If CZ can keep on doing this, though, and keep on being this aggressive player, then maybe his fortunes might change. Here comes the pick, but no! He whiffs the shot! Gasher still tries to clean up from the opposite side. It's now a 3 versus 3, so it's not the end of the world, but that's a lot of utility to lose.
Max also is funny. Max could have tried to kill Gasher or finish off the down, and he opted to finish off the down.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, honestly, that may have been the right decision just with how this match has been going, just looking at CZ and Gasher's scorelines. Also, if you remember, when we casted these two teams last on Villa, CZ was like the only one shooting back. That was kind of one of the reasons why this was a 7-3. 2 of those rounds were single-handedly won by CZ, one of them being an ace. Gasher is just on his scanner as he watches Kool-Aid come closer and closer, and now it's a 3v2. Of course, Acid is going to try and retake, but there's 2 players bearing down on him. England isn't there to help. That's an easy kill for Max through the desk. A trade comes from England, C4 to follow up. It'll find Dami. We're in a 1v1, but England doesn't know where Max is. Max was previously inside a bathroom pushing Astro. If he's still coming, he can catch England's back, but England will turn around, pre-fire over, but he has no more utility. Max has 2 flashbangs, he's got the diffuser in pocket, but he's got no drones. So no plant denial for England, no info for Max. I believe Max just shot out a Mozzie-pested drone, so this is going to be late intel that England is acting off of. Max is just holding the angle. He seems to be aware of where the bandit wants to push. He'll stun in and start planting, but no, England can't see him from there. Max will hear the sound cue, though, but he can't win the fight. Both players now low. It's just a dance of death right now between the 2 sites and the windows through them, but Max holding the angle. He pulls out a stun at the wrong time, but England doesn't hit his shot. He'll try to go downstairs, but he's got no C4. Max will try to just plant. This might be enough time if England can't rotate fast enough. There's only 2 seconds left. He'll let it go down, but Max has to come off and behind the bomb chassis. England knows where he is, and it's a triple kill as he finds the head. It's 4-2 half for Wichita Oblivion as they keep themselves in contention for Villa.
Good grief. Of any of the players on Wichita Oblivion to pull out a clutch like that, I would hope that it's a player as experienced as England is. That was a miraculous 1 versus 2, the final 1v1 requiring more than a minute off the timer. Back and forth across the statue, through doorways, who peeks, who doesn't. And I think it was still a smart play for the Habana to try and stick that diffuser, but at the time that England pushed, he wasn't able to leave. He wasn't able to vault over the half wall and go down a floor. He couldn't leave his position. He had to land the shot. England's just better. A 4-2 half, 2 rounds in a row for Wichita Oblivion, but that is still a big deficit to dig yourself out of. Again, ARIAL or Rise require only 3 rounds before they win CCS outright.
At least Wichita Oblivion were able to salvage the last 2 rounds. Now, then it slipped too far out of control. That last 1v1, though, that was a very long 1v1.
Yeah.
That, I really thought England was gonna win, which, I mean, ended up being true, but I thought it was gonna win sooner. Not gonna lie. That was a lot of dancing. Both players looked like they were kind of shaken there in that situation, but ARIAL Rise still come away with a 4-2 half on their attack. Now they get defense, and they love Villa defense. So, Wichita Oblivion better be ready to deal with ARIAL Rise on their favorite map, on their preferred side. Plus, if this goes to OT, ARIAL Rise have their selection of OT side, which I imagine is also defense. And of course, from what we just saw, they have no problem winning their attacks either. So, we'll see what Wichita Oblivion do. It seems like their solution to dealing with the hot guns from ARIAL Rise is to bring Finka LMG.
I like it. Haven't we seen England also do this previous to this? I think it was on a clubhouse match, wasn't it? He also brought Finka LMG, and it was with the hard breach charge because they dropped stock hatch at one point. I remember someone did it, but I do not remember if it was England or not.
That was Fish.
Ah, that was Fish.
On
That's right.
Moneyball, yeah.
Yeah.
Though
right,
England has brought Finka before in like CL and Pro League. He was always the one to bring, like, if it was like Finka or Fuse, it was usually him.
Well, we'll see if it ends up netting him anything. He's currently 5-5, and obviously having a clutch in the previous round does. You should be able to pad his stats with another clutch like that. It doesn't show up on the objective marker counter, which is the 0 on the right side of his name, because that just means he hasn't planted and he also hasn't diffused for any reason. It looks empty, but it's not because of that previous clutch. The fast pressure now from Wichita as they try to pressure onto 90 corridor. Classical hall will be where Gunner immediately evacuates from, as all of this pressure now from the window, from both sides of the actual 90 hallway. Whitlock is downstairs, maybe hoping someone can go for a push and he can get caught in the crossfire, but at least for the moment, he's content to stick downstairs and try to play the C4 from below. Yet again, Max has a C4 in his pocket, hoping that the rest of the wall gets opened up with enough clearance for him to chuck a C4 through, but it gets destroyed, hopefully with the intent of allowing a frag grenade to get in there so that they can get the electric wall off the wall and try to stall out for more time if possible. Inside a piano, down goes England. Whitlock finds the kill. There's no additional scouting as England just rushes right in without droning. So now Wichita's down a pretty pivotal player. Only one of those Finka boosts was used, but there's only 55 seconds left, and Wichita still make this execute.
Oh, Acid downstairs as well. There's coverage from Dami and Kool-Aid with a kill of his own. So much being lost from Wichita Oblivion in terms of both utility and man count, and it's made even worse as Whitlock downstairs finds another. It's just CZ, and here come the players piling upon him. It's a flawless round. Gunner ending it, and I mean, if there's any start you want to your defensive half, it's that one. 5-2 now. ARIAL Arise, just 2 rounds away. A cumulative 7 minutes, and they'll be CCS champions.
They're so close. They are so tantalizingly close for a team that's only dropped
wateringly close.
Excruciatingly close.
Wait.
I'm thinking of another one too. Hold on. We're trying to come up with really long synonyms and we can't.
Mind-bendingly close.
Monumentally close.
Ooh.
Diabolically close?
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Diabolic? Are they evil? We already said excruciatingly.
I said excruciatingly. God. Max! Never mind.
Jeez.
I'm trying to think of what this did.
I don't know. Yeah. I give up. You know, we're supposed to have a large vocabulary, but right now my mind is too focused on the game to be exploring my inner dictionary.
I really, really want to whip out a thesaurus.com right now.
Right now, our loquaciousness is a bit lacking. We can't be as verbose as we'd like.
See, as you say that, never mind.
It's funny too. Carter actually DM'd me during the Clubhouse game. I just wanted to bring it up on stream because I thought it was really funny. What? Carter was like, "Why are they putting Pulse in Bathroom who just can't rotate anywhere? Like, what if the roam doesn't work out? Nah, it will. Trust." That was the England roam in Bathroom. That was a little bit confusing. There's been a little bit confusing.
That's a caster curse coming from Carter.
Pushes.
Why is he casting England and he's not even in this match?
Come on,
Lynx!
Carter.
God, man.
Well, I guess England knows who to blame now if they can't take this back.
Here comes the run out. Can he find the 1-2 with the MP5? He can! With no prior warning and a lower run out timer. Goodbye, Bladder. Gunner is trying to end this right here, right now. The best player in CCS Season 5 wants this over now.
And he's got a 2.0 KD to try and do it. It's funny. Gunner is 8-4 with a 2.0 KD. Whitlock is 4-2 with a 2.0 KD.
Wow.
I think that's... Whitlock has seen 7 people in the past 7 rounds, and Gunner gets another kill. Acid dead, that's IQ. With Wichita Oblivion being, like, wholly unable to take the Electroclaw off of Vault, that IQ is huge. And CZ, though he takes out Kool-Aid, downstairs, Gunner's still just running amok. He's doing whatever the hell he wants. He's gonna get a 3rd kill onto England. Now Iana's dead because he was crouch walking around with no intel. I don't know what that was, but he's dead now. And Gunner now has 10 kills. And now it's just CZ and Gasher. Aerial Arise are 1 point away from map and match point, and Gunner gets a 4th. Can he find the ace? He just needs Gasher, and Aerial Arise will be 1 round away. But no, he'll fall. It's a 4K for Gunner. No more, but it's still a 1v3 for Gasher to try and claw his way out of.
It seems so dire. I don't even know if I want to give Gasher a chance, but he has Diffuser and the clock. Make something of this, or at least get 1 frag on his way out before he's taken down in a blaze of glory. Come down to how he distributes these last couple of seconds and whether the pre-fires from Aerial Arise are on the board. But now Gasher's position given away. They know he's at the top of trophy entrance. He's just waiting for the approach. Nothing is going to be provided from Aerial Arise aside from a little peek out by Max, and he'll still find the frag. Aerial Arise, match, map, championship points. Excruciatingly close. You know what I'm sad about? We haven't been able to find an actual opportunity to make a deja vu joke.
Oh, that's true.
Quick!
I mean,
quick, make one.
If Aerial Arise win this map 7-3, then it'll be deja vu. But of course, we have to wait for that.
Wait, what was the score of the previous Villa matchup between these two? Was it 7-2 or 7-3?
It was 7-3.
Oh, all right. There's an opportunity for a deja vu joke, but only if Wichita Oblivion win this round.
Yeah, because Aerial Arise, ladies and gentlemen, if you have been living under a rock this entire match, they're 1 round away from taking it all. $1,000 is on the line right now. Aerial Arise are 1 round away from it. They have gone undefeated all season, dropping only 1 map. Their 2nd map dropped, coming in this best of 5. In Wichita Oblivion, they need to now win 4 rounds in a row, flawlessly. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Aerial Arise right now are saying,
Bomb located by
you guys need to be lucky every time.
10 seconds to go.
We need to be lucky only once.
5 seconds to insertion.
Wichita, though, not a team known for comebacks, already makes it really, really obvious that ARIAL Rise might just be in the driver's seat too deep, and Wichita don't have a method of recovery. When Wichita has been presented with a massive streak of rounds from their opponents, it usually isn't something that they can really effectively bounce back into the game from. So we might be looking at the sunset of Wichita, Oblivion, and CCS. Might be crowning a brand new champion. 5 players reaching the top of the mountain in T3. It is oh so close. Let's do at least one more round and see how this plays out. CZ, inside a mudroom, is going to work his way towards Kitchen as close as he possibly can, and he will just force the issue. He's got at least one drone with him, but there's no counterattack from ARIAL will rise. A trade will happen across the map as Kool-Aid gets taken down. Gunner and Dami both fighting one frag apiece. It's turning into the CZ show, and he will need all 4 kills. It's not about to happen. The Wichita Oblivion have filed a flight plan straight to hell. ARIAL Arise are your Cyber Athlete Championship Series North America Season 5 champions. The wind beneath their wings has finally netted them a title.
That
I was saving that flight plan reference the entire night.